lot of traffic. We see the Corvette held you up a little bit over here. That was nice of it.
The problem is you're so fast on the straight and then slow on the corner. But I guess that's a practical.
Yeah. How's the car feel with the lower tire pressure?
Feels better on the low speed, but not as good on the high speed.
Okay, so we'll leave them where they are then.
Yeah.
Just leave them where they are.
Although, the only thing I'm curious, is there a pressure difference between left and right? There.
Alright, whenever you want to go out. You put the left leg up.
say goodbye to all the haters, doubters, and non-believers trying to bring you down. In the blink of an eye, you'll realize that there's so much more to the book than the page you were stuck on. Finally, you will be free to live a life you love living instead of the life you think other people want you to live. Remember, you're the highest authority when it comes to knowing what you want and what you love. So stop trading yourself for the approval from others. Ladies and gentlemen, weirdos and geeks, please repeat after me. I don't give a fuck. What?
Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
It was weird. All right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. How are we doing tonight? We doing okay? Everybody good? It happens. Yeah. What happens? What did I miss out on? John Deadman, not a big problem, buddy. Not a big problem, man. It happens. It does happen. Yeah, I think Glenn, just kind of wasn't really in the mood. He had issues, obviously just getting out of the hospital. So, guys, don't worry about it. It's cool. Mr. Mister's got kids around. That's hilarious. I'm gonna run through and we'll see who all's in the chat tonight. What kind of malcontents and malfeasance we has going on here. We have Ghost 1978 out there. Yeah. Up and he's doing a drool Pepe. All right. Michigan Christian. Not during the Michigan game. Go blue. All right. We'll see afterwards. We have Seriously Shelby in the house, and then Damien, our parkour expert. He has a show too, guys. If you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. He's actually a really cool dude. Does so his show is actually really good. Adam Ant is in the chat tonight. How about that? He's pretty cool too. Mr. Boulay is in the chat, hoping for everyone us to have a good show. Seriously, Shelby answers right back. He might build his computer tomorrow. That's awesome. Cool. I just did that myself. Well, I didn't build one. I bought one, but still just had to redo some stuff on that. All right. Who else we got? What do you got? We got. Who else is out there? You guys. Jack is out there in the house tonight. He's going to be a good dude tonight. I can just tell. He's been turned over a new leaf there, guys. Don't be mad at him. He's okay. Viking Paradigm is in the house tonight. He's going to be he'll be probably some fun later. Buck White is in the house. That's always interesting and hilarious as well. He'll actually make some comments. I'm sure that will delight all. 13 BougiCon is out in the house, which is awesome. He's a cool dude. We have Buck White's been up on stage a couple of times. He's pretty funny. Yeah. All right. Let's see what we got here. Who else is out there in the house tonight? That's kind of we can call attention to, put them on display. Guys, it's been a long day. I've been out all day. TR Finley is in the house, in the chat. Gorilla Biscuits. I'm not really sure. I don't know if you've been on the show before, but welcome, sir. You're certainly welcome here. Smoking Spaceman is in the house, as always. Good to see you, sir. Let's see who else we got. John Deadman's in the house. We've already talked about you being a little inebriated last night. That's okay. It happens to the best of us, except for me because I don't drink. That's okay. Mr. Mister is in the house. We talked about he's got the kids going on. That's going to be fun for him. Let's see. We got everybody out there. We got a lot of our mods in the house. We got it going on. It's going to be a good show. It is going to be a good one. Anson Knowles has made it in as well. Yo to you as well, Anson Knowles. Good to see everybody out in the house tonight. Excellent. Very good, sir. Very good, sir. So now that everybody's we've checked off the list. Hey, it's Chris Lestrange. What's up with it, man? How's it going? How are you, sir? How was Verbal Combat last night? How about that? I didn't get a chance to watch it. I went to bed as I normally do, but I want to hear about it. Guys, tonight's stream will be a chill stream. We'll start bringing people up on stage. We'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. If you've got a question that you would like asked, answered, or if you want to talk to the chat about something and you want to come up, please get a hold of one of the mods. They will explain the process to you. The mods are good people. They will talk to you very politely and help you out. Mr. E joined us on panel for the first time. All right. Did he take an L? Tell me he did not take an L. All right. So where else are we at here? What do we got going on? Is the Sith Master. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's a pretty good guy, actually. I did not take an L. All right, good. Yeah, just get a hold of the mods. Don't fondle them. No essay stuff, guys. Let's be nice. Did Imperious walk in? Is Imperious in? Imperious will be hilarious. I can't believe Imperious is not on here. So yeah, he didn't get his soul taken. Okay, all right, guys, and just to remind everybody that feel free to use the super chat, and guys, the TTS has been lowered to $10 on YouTube or Streamlabs. Obviously, I would prefer you do Streamlabs, but YouTube's fine too. It's all the same to me. So it is a bigger cut YouTube demands over on the YouTube land, the super chats. But they are both $10. There is a 200 character limit. You'll have to count them out yourself. I somehow have not been able to. I somehow cut off the character limit, I believe, and it will only read up to 200 characters. But I've somehow got it jacked up to where it will show more than 200 characters. And so if you type more than that, then I have to display it and say it, and then it kind of defeats the purpose of the TTS, although it may still be funny. Welcome, Angel Berber. How are you? It's been a great evening. Been a great day today, guys. It's been really good, really relaxing, really therapeutic, cathartic, all of the words, all of them. Yeah. So we'll get this party started here shortly. It is a chill stream tonight. I don't really have a whole lot of special stuff to talk about. We've had some really good discussions all over the internet the last few days, so I'm feel welcome to bring them up. And if you happen to have been on one, or you just want to have a discussion, feel free to bring one up. Welcome, Khaled, however you say that. R. Allen, welcome, sir. It's all good times, all good times. Evans made the mistake of calling Mr. E's mod. Mr. E is Mr. E Andrew's mod. Mr. E is the director and producer of The Crucible. Andrew has said as much, and Mr. E is Andrew's primary mock debate prep for debates. Mr. E also runs The Crucible, as far as I know, at least the Discord. That is as you may have heard Andrew say many times, and I'm not 100% on this myself, but near as I can tell, Mr. E created the Discord for Andrew. It is a fan based Discord. It is not Andrew's. Andrew is a guest there, just like everybody else. Mr. E is the true power, just to let you know. Yeah, and John Deadman, alcohol is a bitch. I do believe that. I've never actually drank any of it, but I have watched its effects. Welcome, Fredo Fonzarelli. Good to see you in the house. It's pretty good. Pretty good time today. And greetings to you, BIY. Greetings to you, sir. Good to see you. California sober here. All right, good to hear. It's hard to be sober in California, I think. I'm not 100% on that, but I feel like it is. Welcome, Adam Ant. I believe I saw you over in the stream I just left. I was in a stream just moments ago. I hope the fellow comes over here. He had a really good stream going on. It was basically talking about men and the recent obsession with men and men's rights and men's activities when it seems like we've been ignored for so long. It's a really great topic. We'll have to discuss that at some point. Now, guys, just to be honest, I have disseminated the link for tonight's show to many, including Andrew, Brian from whatever, Glenn Lawrence. Many people have the link, so it's feasible any of them could pop in at any moment. We will see. Yeah, it's very easy not to be sober in California. Why would you want to be sober in California is the real question, because it's terrible. Men are the best at everything, even being the worst, says Anson Knowles. Truer words never spoken. Truer words never spoken. So, all right. was hoping that hoping that we would already have some people wanting to come up, but that's okay. I'll monologue. Anyone have any questions, concerns, reality checks, things I should be aware of? Any of that? All ears. Yeah, Andrew's in a it's been a bad week for a lot of people. And I think health wise, the past couple of weeks has been really rough. I have not had time to watch the Rogan Trump podcast. I would I would love to take a couple of hours to watch it, but I just don't. I haven't had the time. So okay, smoking spaceman. That sounds good. I seem to have quite a few viewers in California. It's very interesting. It's 3 hours. Yeah, that's fine. I just haven't had the time yet. I will. I will make the time. Yeah. Did he really? I missed out on that, Angel. I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah, smoking spaceman, you are behind enemy lines, and someday we're gonna have to free our brothers in arms in California. Sorry, that's what it is. Yeah, Kamala is just too much of a politician, guys. Yeah, I think this is a really common mistake. And Ayn Rand is not a libertarian, and although some libertarians prescribe to a lot of her tenets and theories, um, I personally find a lot of the rhetoric and points that she illustrates are often misinterpreted by people who want them to be more conservative than they are. I need to reread a couple of the books because I believe that people look at the Ayn Rand books from a very specific point of view that the books, pardon me, never actually get to. It's just my um, point of view. You're welcome to challenge it, especially Angel Berber, who I know that has read them and understands them. The ethics of Ayn Rand with some libertarian views. Okay, interesting. Yeah, Rob Noor had some fellow challenge him to a debate yesterday, and never the guy never came up on stage. It was really truly sad. If we have anybody that wants to come up and chat, go ahead, reach out to a mod. Again, the link's been passed around a little to pretty much everybody that needs it. You're welcome to come up. If not, I will continue to monologue and answer questions from the chat. That will be good. So, yeah, Anson's right. She was all about free love and the Ubermensch. She was a trip. It's not. It's not inaccurate, to be honest. It's interesting because I feel like so many people really want her to be. Um, I think a lot of people really like the idea that John Galt is something more than it is. Evening, OPC Don. I don't think the Thorpes have rated it, but I don't know that they're done yet. Oh, I guess they are. No, I didn't see them raid me. Maybe they did. I don't know. So, yeah. It would have been cool, honestly, if they had rated it. It would have been cool. I would have probably enjoyed continuing to talk with some of the, or contend with some of the points they were making. But it's fine. It is totally fine. Well, let's see. Is that right? Yeah, Thorpe TV. All right, somebody asked me a question. I missed it. Like I got to scroll back up. Stand by. What was my day like today? It's busy, man. It was busy. What was my day like today? I'm sorry, it took me a minute to find that and put it up on the screen. Well, let's see. What was my day like? I got up. I did my normal stuff. I had to do. I had to. I've got some clips I'm working on, or not clips, but some um, 13 to 15-minute segments of a stream I did a few weeks ago, or a couple of weeks ago, that I'm chopping up and I'm getting ready to put onto the channel. And to do that, I have to create artwork, headers, and or intros and outros for them. I just haven't done that yet. It's time consuming for me to do that, so that's why I did some of that this morning. My son had clay target practice at his school, so we went and did that. I had a very nice conversation with some of the patrons of that facility, and it was really, really good. And I came home, and that's pretty much what I did. That was my day. So, so that was my day. Do I ever watch The Fat Electrician? He did a video on what that wooden World War II bomber I think you would like. Yeah, I'll check it out. I have not watched it. Anson Knowles, do you want to come up, sir? You always are. You're a good time. What's my projection for 2025 if somehow Trump wins? Do you think we will see a repeat of the summer of love? Um, hmm. Well, that's a good question. Where are we at on that? So, what I think is going to happen is I think it's going to be, if he wins, it's going to be a fight to get him actually in office. I mean, a fight. I mean, it's going to be it's going to be terrible what the Dems are willing to do, because everything that they accuse us of doing that we would never do, they actually do it. They're willing to do it. So that's a problem. And but assuming that he gets into office, I what I see is, well, first thing I see is I see investors coming in hardcore on in every market, real estate, stock, um, basically every financial market. All the people that have been holding on to their money, it's going to be like cutting the purse strings across the board. Um, and um, I think we'll see investment on a level we hadn't seen in a while. I do agree with Raging Patriot 1776 that riots will amp up and will start the same BS we saw in 2016, 2017 with Antifa and all of the various riots, all of the various nonsense that we saw then. I feel like we'll see it again. Although, guys, I have to say, and I don't know if we're honest with ourselves. I'm just going to pull this down off screen. If we're honest with ourselves, guys, I think that we have to admit that the American people, by and large, are tired of toddler behavior. They're tired of infantile maniacs taking to the streets and throwing fits. And a lot of places, in 2016, apologize, guys, I didn't mute my phone before it came up. Forgive me. Yeah, vote early if you can. I have. If you, that's the best way I can put this, and this is going to be great when Anson Knowles comes up. But I fully believe that we've now gotten to the point that we've gotten to the point where, for lack of a better description, we are, for lack of a better description, we have the unique position of being so used to dealing with it that I just don't believe that it's going to be a problem for us to deal with it. You know what I mean? I think that, if you just keep playing the same hand over and over, eventually the people get, they have a built-in reaction to it. And I think that's what we're really going to see. To some degree, I feel like that, it could be more dramatic, more what's the word I'm looking for here? It could be more dangerous than it was before, but I don't know how, man. I mean, we have people with baseball bats and guns and everything else, and we had Rittenhauser, all of that nonsense. It's going to be very insane. What I really think is going to happen is you're going to see people that talk about conservative things online. I think you're going to start seeing that become a real problem. You're going to see that become like, it's going to be like the biggest of big problems, because without a doubt, the left has no reason to even consider giving us quarter. You know what I mean? They're just everything they accuse the right of being, they are times 10. So, and they don't prosecute each other. That's the other thing. Amanda 12378, welcome. I guess everybody said hi to you. BIY said hi to you, so I guess we'll say hi. Yeah. Well, John Devin, I don't know that that's true, because I honestly believe that if Trump wins and there's no sign of election fraud, then he'll. I mean, if Trump loses and there's no sign of election fraud, then he'll be fine. But if we have another thing, where we go into the middle of the night and it's so freaking obvious, I mean, you kind of have to question it, right? Um, so I don't necessarily agree with that outlook. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Yes, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you've got a few bucks, throw them to the channel. The channel is getting to the point where it's actually starting to cost money. And while that's actually not that big a deal, it is. We're at a point where the stream really should start paying for itself, and you know be at least somewhat self-reliant. Election fraud is never 0%. Yes, absolutely. However, a small amount of election fraud is kind of built in. When it starts getting out of hand, that's where the problems really start. So my big problem is that we are facilitating mass amounts of fraud in the way that we're not dealing with our election system the way we should. So that will be great if we can make that happen. Like a lot, like really great. So yeah, the media machine will sell whatever they want as usual. Sure. Sick man hit me with a sub. Okay. Hey, Chris Lestrange, if you don't feel bad about not coming up, man. If you need sleep, man, go get some sleep. Your health is important, and your mental health is also important. I would think, probably. I think it's important. All right, somebody is. So. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta take care of yourself there, man. Got to. On the state or federal level. I'm sorry, Adam, man. What did I miss? Did I lose track of the question? I could have. Yeah, the dead should not vote. Raging Patriot. That's for sure. I am all by myself. That's okay. Clover Tack, you can come up. I'll shoot you a link right now, bro. I'm a little beat tonight too, so I'm like in that really nice zone where I'm just like cool. Oh, it's Anson Knowles in his best film noir. I really
Hey,
like.
Grid.
Are you like outside in your garden?
No, man, I'm just hanging out at my desk,
Okay,
watching
I got you.
I don't
I
like the
got you.
lights,
I
They
got you.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I get you, man. I got you. I get you. How have you been, man?
Man, I've been chilling with my kids today and being a dad and that kind of stuff. It's
Yeah,
been
man, that's cool.
been a
That's
pretty good
cool.
day. No complaints. Got to watch the kids play soccer and do their Krav Maga and that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, man, that's cool.
yeah. I see the anime is getting the focus out of whack on your thing over there again. You see
Yeah,
that?
it does that. Well, it's because it's supposed to be tracking my eyes, but the um, whoever designed this eye tracking software didn't think that people might wear glasses.
Yeah.
So. Pardon me.
Yeah, there's systemic prejudice against the ocularly challenged.
That's it, man. We should
Yeah.
unite.
Yeah, it's the 2020 vision. It's what is that? It's part of the system, man. We got to rebel. Oh, look, it's
Part of the system.
that redneck from Texas.
It
Hell
is that
yeah.
redneck from Texas.
Hell
Actually,
yeah.
I believe they are plains people. They're not really a redneck. Redneck are miners.
Yeah.
Farmers are redneck. How do you figure farmers don't have a redneck? How would miners have a damn
Yeah.
redneck? They're down in a
No,
fucking mine all day.
the original determination
me.
for redneck was the red bandanas the miners wore to keep the dust out of their
Okay.
face. So
Okay.
just to point out the obvious that
Okay.
that's why I'm a Tennessee hilljack and not a redneck, because my people are from the hills. So
Redneck, hillbilly, whatever. It's all the same.
hillbilly's a little bit different, but close enough, man. We'll allow it. Texas is cowboy status if you ride a horse. So,
Yeah, I heard somebody yesterday was complaining because they went to a wedding in Arizona. Like all the groomsmen were like dressed up in the, almost like nudie suits or whatever with the, cowboy hats. And it's like, this is Arizona, not Texas. And I'm like, there's cowboys in Arizona? Like, aren't there? Like, that's considered the West, isn't it? Florida?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that's where all the people who got run out of Texas went.
Well, that's where Tombstone's at, for Christ's sake. I mean,
Arizona, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you went east back to Texas, right? Texas was considered the east because you certainly didn't go to New York City. Ain't nobody got no time for that.
New York City.
That's right. That was a
Yeah,
great
bro.
that was a great advertising campaign.
Can't do that advertisement no more.
Yeah. Yep, Tombstone is in Arizona. Winslow also in Arizona.
Oh yeah. Tombstone's awesome. I've got Instagram pictures of multiple guns taken at various places around Tombstone.
Nice.
I went to in 2019. I got a buddy that lives outside of Tucson, and in 2019, I went and covered Gun Rights Policy Conference that was in Phoenix. And of course, I drive everywhere, so that was like a 36 fucking hour straight drive. It was brutal.
Why? Did you do
why? Because it's fun, dude. Like cannonball.
I do that
like,
too, but
I love it, man. Anyway,
just seems like
it's brutal, but I love it so much. Yeah. Well, coming back,
real condition, I would be very concerned.
So coming back, that was not a damned option. I drove all the way actually from Tucson all the way, but I drove straight back from basically Tucson coming back, but not Phoenix. So it was a little shorter. But anyway, so coming back, had spent the weekend, working, covering the conference, all that stuff. And my buddy from Tucson says, hey, why don't you see if you can catch like a hot wire special deal room in Tucson? He said, and then he said, we'll go down, have lunch. And I took a bunch of guns because we were going to like go out in the desert and shoot maybe or something. We didn't have time. But he's like, you've got all these guns. He's like, why don't we go to get up? He said, we'll run down in the morning, get up in the morning. We'll run down to Tombstone. He said, I know a bunch of cool places that we can set the guns around and take pictures, and all that. And I'm like, they'll let you. He's like, oh yeah, they don't give a shit in Tombstone. I'm like, cool. And he's like, then we'll eat lunch and you can go home. I'm like, okay, yeah, sound like a plan. So yeah, all those pictures are on. You have to scroll way back, but all of those are on Instagram and they're tagged Tombstone, Arizona. So
nice,
pretty neat.
That sounds
it's kind of neat. Yeah, it's kind of neat seeing a Tech 9 at some famous place in Tombstone. Like,
would it be a corral of sorts?
like, sir. Oh man, it was saloons and all kinds of stuff, dude. Yeah. Yeah, but I didn't do period correct guns. Like I had all kinds of stuff because we were planning on going to the desert and shoot. But
Sure.
so it's funny to see some of that modern stuff, with the classic Tombstone backdrops and stuff.
Yeah.
So how about that election stuff you were talking about before, man? That was some wild stuff. Texas is going blue right this year, right? Right, Clover Tech.
Okay.
I mean, what does early voting look like in Texas right now?
Turnout's pretty phenomenal, but it typically always is. Texas, by and large, does vote early. Seems like. So
Okay.
you're talking about so far, like who's ahead? That's obvious. It's Trump. But
Yeah. Is there anywhere right now? And look, I have not had time to follow this because I'm like, I've just been busy with other stuff, man. Just to be honest. But how is Trump actually doing? Or yeah, how's Trump doing in the early polls? I mean, is he pretty much ahead everywhere, or is he losing places where he should be winning, or
seems to be.
how's it looking?
Last I looked, he was slightly ahead pretty much everywhere, but Republican turnout was slightly ahead as well. So
Okay.
that makes sense. It tracks. Last I seen. Did anybody see his Rogan or listen to it?
I have not had time yet. We were just talking about that.
Fucking phenomenal, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was typical Rogan. It was they went down Trump will chase rabbits all day fucking long if you let him. And Rogan
Mhm.
let him. And I mean, it was just some great conversation and back and forth. It was, you wouldn't
Mhm.
think it was like President Trump that was there talking. It was amazing. They talked about UFC and the old days of UFC and some boxing stuff, and they got into like aliens and some crazy shit. It was pretty good.
That's what makes Trump a good politician, though, is he's a real person. He's not up there putting on some persona. He's really just that guy.
Yeah.
Kamala couldn't do that because she's got just about as much substance as like a graphite pencil. It's just gonna break apart with any kind of pressure. She's
Yeah.
weak.
Yeah, it's interesting, I guess, because it's just interesting. I think that I heard a bunch of people so far. I've heard that for whatever reason, Trump they feel like is just long winded, and he just takes forever to get to the point and all of that. And I'm like, I don't know that I've ever heard what I would consider a long winded speech from Trump, but maybe it could be. I don't know.
It's normal talk.
Yeah.
It's not pointed, rehearsed bullshit. Like
Right. Yeah.
normal people do that. Normal people will start to tell you
At all.
something and then
Yeah.
they'll weave off onto a tangent for fucking
Mhm.
10 minutes and eventually they bring it back around or somebody helps to bring them back around or whatever. That's just
Mhm.
the way people normally talk.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but when they were talking about floating the idea, just floating the idea in the media of Biden not running anymore, we talked about it, Grid, and I said that I didn't think that they were going to run Kamala because she's a word salad machine. That's all she knows
Right.
how to do, and they basically hid her from the media for a couple of years when they realized that she didn't know how to talk. And now
Yeah.
that they put her in the
Yeah.
spotlight, it's coming out again.
I
Yeah. No.
wonder if she doesn't know how to talk because she's got no fucking friends and nobody likes the bitch.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
That's a little harsh, man. That's owie. That's
Like all of her staffers, like anybody that's ever been around her an entire life comes out and talks about how horrible she treats people and she is. Maybe
true.
she's just so horrible to be around that she has nobody to practice with.
It's true.
I just think she's socially awkward, man. I mean, I know what it's like to be a little socially awkward. Give her the benefit of the doubt. She might just be a little weird, you know?
And I think she's a lot weird, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Little
know?
little weird is little weird I think is, not really doesn't really get there.
Yeah, she's like Richard Nixon level a little bit weird, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I go with that.
Yeah.
So you've seen the interview. How did Rogan handle Trump? Was he like leading him in with questions? Was he like just
Yeah,
letting?
he was bringing him back around from tangents
Okay.
a little bit, but I mean that's not Rogan's style. Rogan's there for the conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, he didn't he wasn't hard ass with that. But occasionally he said, "Okay, I need to bring it back around. Let's come back around. Let's come back around to this or let's come back around to that." You know what I mean? So, in that sense he was staring, but he didn't I mean, I would say out of the 3 hours it was, man, and chime in out there in the chat if you listen to it. I'd say 2 fucking hours of it had very little to do with politics, if any.
Hmm. That's cool.
And that's what made it good because you got to see kind of behind the scenes, you know. One thing he did confirm, which we've heard before, is how that, his first term he got in and he fucking knew nothing about how like governments were run and politics worked and cabinets were filled. And so he had to lean on some people that he really shouldn't have leaned on to fill positions and stuff. And
Yeah.
like he won't fucking make that mistake this time. Um, so that's the first time I've actually heard the words come out of his mouth, so to speak, about that. I have heard that he said that, but I
Yeah.
haven't heard him say that.
Yeah. Did Rogan go off on any of his conspiracy theories or start talking about pod or any of that stuff?
UFOs.
UFOs.
They got into UFOs. Yeah. They got into UFOs a little bit, definitely, and nothing specific. They got into some of the without any. Trump did really well to tell stories and shit without giving any specifics. Because Rogan did ask him some, "You're the president. What information were you privy to?" stuff, you know.
Mhm.
And Trump kind of danced around and told some personal anecdotes and stories and different things, to make it about halfway entertaining without actually answering the question, because he can't, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, they did for it a little bit go down the uh the UFO thing. How's that a spoiler alert?
Well,
That he didn't give any. Yeah. Oh, he talks all about it then. Yeah, he tells all the secrets. Area 51. Go watch it.
well, he he talked a little bit about Taiwan, which was actually more important because
Hmm.
whatever he says about Taiwan, the Chinese will read into, and he basically referred to Taiwan the same way that China would, and it was probably a good thing that he did, calling them like a breakaway province instead of just the way that the neocons do to enrage the Chinese.
Hmm.
So that was good. It'd probably be good for China relations if he becomes president.
Hmm. Interesting. So, what do you guys think about how because it's just a chill stream, right? What do you think about how all of the Democrats that have been out lately getting shellacked in these debates? Like Destiny hasn't taken a W in months. Pisco, you know, Rob Noor and I forget his partner's name. They had a 2v2 with these two complete knuckleheads on modern day debate the other night. Um, Shapiro had that, which I don't know if it's been released yet on Jubilee, but had this complete this guy named who calls himself IRI. Um, uh, he um, he got completely destroyed talking about um, basically everything about all the policies related to Kamala, and it just seems like that everywhere you look, any debate stream, any debate channel, every time you watch an actual like debater, you know, they get just the liberals are just getting absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, that's not new. I mean, leftists don't usually win debates. They win by silencing their opposition. So in a fair fight where you're actually having a free exchange of ideas, that they'll eventually just lose because it'll be known what the talking points are that they have because they just
You shut
basically
up,
have a
Anson. Just shut up, Anson. You're a communist. Shut up, Anson. Shut up.
yeah, yeah. They win by controlling the tone. That's right, man.
Mhm.
And that's about it, you know. And so in the marketplace of ideas, they're gonna get beaten because our people are gonna have logic and reasoning and study and think about it. But it's irrelevant, Grid, because politics isn't won with ideas; it's won with power.
Right, but I mean, what gives them the power is this perception that they are always winning, and they've been able to ride a sea of rhetoric for years that everybody loves them, everybody loves their doctrine, everybody, the entire idea that feminism is bad is just, there's a very few people that actually think that. That's just rumors. Nobody actually
Yeah,
believes.
but when you have a huge echo chamber that tells you you're winning, you're gonna
Sure.
think you're winning.
Right. Yeah, but when you go out and you go into a neutral platform and you get absolutely wrecked, you get called on the carpet, you get fact checked, you get, completely embarrassed and just wrecked live in 4K. How do you, I mean, do you guys think that that's actually affecting how young people who watch these debates, and by young people, I mean voters, voting age 18 to say 25, who are watching these videos who are, get wrapped up in the debates, and then the clips from those debates go viral, and then people that aren't in that demographic are seeing it, and what they're seeing is this rhetoric that they're listening to not only being challenged but being wrecked live in 4K in real time.
Well,
And
that all sounds great, but here's my question. Who
yeah,
in that neutral fucking forum is actually fucking neutral? Because I've
well,
hung around
nobody's
here. I've
neutral.
hung around here long enough to drop in some of those, and there's nobody in there going, "Oh, I don't really know what to think. I'm gonna listen to this
Yeah,
objectively and make my." No, it's rah rah for this person or rah
right,
rah for that fucking
sure.
person.
Well,
Yeah, but
there's
it's I guess what I'm getting at is it's worldview changing when you see the rhetoric that you believe completely wrecked live on camera. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's Glenn Lawrence. Why are you not up here, young man?
Right.
You should be up here.
Hope
Liberals
you're
are
feeling
smarter than
better, Glenn. Hope you're feeling better, bro.
you. Yeah. They know that people, even the most logical of people, are still human and will appeal to emotions if given the right opportunity. That's true, and I think that's partially true. But I'm just I'm watching the comments. I'm looking at these clips. I'm watching the numbers of people who are new, or who are, hey man, I was on the other side just 3 weeks ago, and I've been watching, Pisco, and I can't think of the guy that looks like hippie Jesus. Can't think of his name. Been watching those guys, and it used to really resonate with me, but now it's just I'm just done with it. So
yeah, they're not going to allow that for a real long time. If you don't think that the people that run this show, the YouTube stuff, if you don't think that they
mhm.
can see all that stuff in their algorithm, they can.
Yeah, we talked a
And
little bit about that last night. The we talked a little bit about that last night because you have kind of this situation right now where, how am I putting this? So like Tim Pool, right? So Tim Pool never really said anything bad, right? Or even anything that I would think would sway anybody. And mostly he's a big conspiracy theorist. I don't know um, how seriously people take him, right? I mean, probably seriously. I mean, he's got millions of views and everything, millions of followers. But all he really did was kind of make a couple of comments about how we should not be in Ukraine, how a couple of he made some other comments. Nothing big. And YouTube literally sent him to, basically re-education camp, right? He had to go do that. We talked about that last night. And it's pretty crazy to me,
Well, I mean, that's just step one. Step two is going to be, when the election happens and they start deplatforming people again, and that's going to happen. I mean, it's just a
Yeah.
matter of time. They've already started doing some of that deplatforming. I follow that news, and there have been people that have been taken off. They took some leftists off and took some right wing people off. I think it was Twitch, wasn't it, that Israelis started canceling people from because of negative things that have been said about their people, and I think
I'm not sure.
I think
I
the
mean, I wouldn't be
Israelis.
surprised. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not like I'm going to be surprised about this.
yeah, but there's going to be more deplatforming and preventing opposing opinions from happening, just like in the last election cycle after the election was done.
Interesting. I don't know. I just think that it's see, I used to be really once Limbaugh went away, I was really not depressed, but I was really like
Oh, I was depressed.
I
It
was
hit me
like,
hard, man.
yeah, but I mean, I was really like, well, Limbaugh was just so big they couldn't take him down. Right? Like every time they tried to take him down, he would just come back stronger, right? Like he was literally like one of those one of those incredible bouncy balls. You just, the harder you throw it against the wall, the harder it came back at you,
Yeah.
And after he was gone in the last election, I saw how easy it was for the voices to be silenced. I mean, and completely silenced, like completely gone. Right? Like not just like, oh, the content was edited or removed or whatever. It's just gone. Like it never existed to start with. And then of course, you can only do that so long before you get called out on it. And there's a lot of different people involved. And you guys, all the, the story, right? I mean, it's not new. But it's, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Well, I mean, Rush talked about it all the time about how the media was controlled by one entity. It was all the establishment for a very long time, and then
and that's exactly what he called it, the
yeah,
establishment. Yeah.
and he came in and broke it up a little bit with the new platform, and then this is just a new platform, but it's not free. It's not as free as the other one was, as free as it wasn't with the corporate control, and it's just and the other platforms, the competing ones, the Rumbles and the other, they're not nearly as good as this one. And and at one point, I think 8 years ago, it was Facebook that was really big in terms of in terms of political outreach and being able to organize. And this one, I don't think YouTube was quite as big then.
Well,
But
YouTube was big, but I think Facebook was Facebook just catches more people because of the short format, and you could post TikToks and stuff, and you could just sit there and just run through a bunch of different things, and I think that the way that they've gone in and forced Facebook to to change is why Facebook is all pissed off right now and why they seem to not be that important right now, you know. But yes, Facebook was terrible. So
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, it's the same story, and it's been repeated in a few election cycles. It didn't new. I mean, Alex Jones was the first big deplatform, and that was before Rush was gone. And they're just going to take more people off from my perspective.
yeah,
But
I
that's
mean, I
why
guess
Glenn was talking about that the other night about how we need to have our own network of manosphere network, and that was a really good idea. At least some sort of decentralized way to get off of this. And I'm all about that. I'm not a content creator like y'all. I'm just a spectator. But
yeah, no, yeah, I'm kind of one of those that's apathetic about it. The thing is yes, YouTube can nuke my channel, but it it's the same thing that happened. What was the name of that network that came out? Patriot Net or
OAN.
maybe, and it was supposedly just like Facebook, right?
Oh yeah. You talking about Parlor?
Parlor, yeah, thank you. And then of
Yeah.
course they got shut down and sued, and you really can't do anything about it. I mean, it's just the way it's going to be. So, um, the thing is, which I think we're fortunate about in this country, at least, um, the reason that Facebook's all pissed off right now is they keep losing court cases where they push people off, they've throttled people, all of these things. And YouTube, I think, has looked at that and basically said, obviously they still have their God complex where they think I can do whatever I want, right? But I think that the fear there is very real that, you know, if it can happen to Facebook and it can happen to YouTube, and YouTube doesn't, YouTube really loses a large portion of its market if it really does try and eliminate right-wing voices. Like, it loses a massive amount of its market. So I think that they play this. I think they personally they walk a line, and they're one of the reasons they refine their TOS so damn much. It's not always changing, but it seems like there's always something new. I really feel like, or my observation is, I'm not going to use the word I feel like. I will. I'll just say my observation is that no matter what, YouTube is more and more being forced to create and refine the rules of service. That the more they do that, the more they're forced to do that, the better the better off it is for everyone, especially people like the right side who
Well,
are
yeah,
all
because then they have to spell out exactly what their
exactly
policies
what
are.
exactly what
Everything is so ambiguous right now to where it's like, their TOS is like, so vague where it's like, oh,
yeah, but it's
okay,
getting
well,
less
picking
vague.
your nose is now a violation. Oh shit, I didn't know that, like
Yeah, well, the
it's
TOS is interesting because the TOS, and the TOS is very interesting in that largely it applies mostly to the recorded content, like live. As long as you're not showing it to children, you can do almost anything live. Like, but you can't touch firearms, and you can't actually. I don't think you can actually like hurt somebody in a premeditated way, like the Jackass videos and things like that. You can't. I don't think you can do those live anymore because somebody could actually get really hurt, and they can't control that. So, um, and there's some other things you can't do, But live, I mean, you can say
I don't
whatever you
think
want to say.
Jackass was ever allowed to be live, honestly.
Well, no, the Jackass type stuff, right? Like
Oh.
the stunts and things like that. But they've really pushed that
Yeah.
around.
Pranks, anything, anything scary or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think YouTube really, all they really are concerned about right now, what it seems like anyway. I mean, I can't, because I'm not in the meetings any more than any of you guys are. But what it seems like their big concerns are is YouTube doesn't want to get sued for somebody doing some stupid ass stunt live and getting and YouTube being being held somehow.
No, YouTube doesn't want you to fuck up their ad revenue money. Like, look,
Sure.
they make buco dollars. They don't give a shit about what you say. But if what you say is gonna fuck with their money, then they're gonna fuck with your money. And it's that simple. It's just that simple. And do they have a political leaning? Yeah, they lean to what brings them the money.
Right?
What gets consumers?
Their political leaning is, am I getting
green?
Paid this month?
Their party is the party of green, Benjamins, right? And they know that, hey, who's the number one consumer in these countries? Oh, it's the vaginas. So guess what, fellas? Fuck you. You guys don't shop enough. And we're going to, lean more to the ladies because we know the ladies are the ones that spend your money. And that's what we're going to go with. We're going to make sure we cater to that because we want to get paid.
Yeah, but the female content gets killed worse than anybody else's.
Well,
it's
I know
the content creator. It's
seriously. Shelby donated $10 super chat.
I know that Cam out there did
tell
some
you the
shopping
changes
today.
to it unless you check every day.
So, congrats, Cam.
All right, so you guys are still talking when the TTS is going on. I'll reread it. TOS, they don't tell you the changes to it unless you check every day. That is true. That it is actually kind of annoying that they don't send out an alert saying, hey, when you log in or when you just go to, upload a video, hey, these are changes we've made. I think they used to do it and it just got to be a hassle and they don't do it. So
I get emails all the time.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Maybe I just have the wrong email address entered, which is entirely possible.
Yeah, well, Clover's part of like the Insider Edition. He's part of the Illuminati.
Yeah, he actually
YouTube.
has a rep.
This is true. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, he's part of the Illuminati.
That
YouTube.
That too, but I was getting stuff even before then. I mean, you got to make sure that you're keeping up. I mean, it's your responsibility to keep up. And there's creator forums and there's other things that you can join. And you got to make sure that things are all tied to, the same address so that they come in for management purposes. And, the vast majority of users, the vast majority of channels, they don't spend any time on the business management, I guess you could say, aspect of being an influencer or a creator. And so they get hung up. They get caught in the weeds on shit.
I don't know that this is actually true, Arthur Daya. Where did I go with it? So we just kind of went through this with Hickok 45 because he, they made a minor change to the TOS and but without thinking, he went live or made a video. I don't know if he went live, but he made a video about how basically he was going to have to leave YouTube because that he was just going to be reduced so much because of whatever the terms of service change was going to affect him, and he was going to have to the way he read it, it sounded like he was going to have to pull down all of his old videos, and that's not what happened. If you have something that like YouTube might randomly flag a video, but they give you a chance to fix it. I got flagged today for having a copyright deal from an old video that was not monetized. That I don't think I ever monetized it, but apparently I
Well,
did. And now they're saying, well, and this is months later. They're like, oh, you have a copyright on this.
well, copyright policy is different, and so
Yeah.
all of that's handled differently.
Yeah,
So
and
you've got multiple policies that run off of or multiple things that run off multiple policies that are handled by many multiple teams. And so to answer Arthur Dias' question, as far as retroactively, getting smacked, you're not supposed to, right?
yeah,
So like as far as getting a strike goes. Now, as far as your monetization, yeah, it's going to be affected. If you've got full monetization and they change terms and that video is not compliant with the new terms, then it falls under the purview of that. You don't get grandfathered in. Like, they can't do that. How do you sell that to an advertiser? Like, you don't, right? And
Right.
so that's retroactive. But anything as far as losing your channel, which is community strikes,
yeah.
and also copyright.
They just sent me an email saying, hey, your video
Yeah.
can't be monetized, so
Yeah.
change it or delete it or whatever.
So as far as retroactive on the community side, Candace Owens is going to hype up every bit of drama that she can possibly fucking hype
Yeah,
up.
I was about to
Get
say
you
that.
all excited about that. She knows the truth. I can guarantee you she knows the truth, but she will never tell you the truth because that does not bode well in her favor to get you to come into streams like you just did and go, Candace Owens, and everybody now is going to go look up Candace Owens. Yeah, you got played.
Fair point. That's fair point.
So back to what I was saying. If they change a policy as far as the community system and the strikes, they will take the video down, right?
Yeah.
Because it violates policy, but you're not supposed to get a strike for it. If you do get a strike for it, then you need to go through the proper channels. And if you will do that, then they will reverse that strike and go, oh, okay, for whatever reason you got hit retroactively, you weren't supposed to. Yeah, we'll take the strike away. No problem. They're not going to put the fucking video back up. So if you're wanting that, then go fuck yourself, because that's just not the way that
They
works.
just tell you to change it. They're just like, hey, you're going to have to change it.
Well, they want, if it's a community, they're going to remove it. You're talking about copyright.
Oh, so if she did, well, okay, yeah. If they change it, so that may be. I don't know. I have not had a community strike. So
with big
that I'm aware
channels,
of.
and Candace Owens is certainly one of those channels. And I don't know that this has happened with Candace Owens, but I know this has happened with Trump for a fact, and I know this has happened with Alex Jones for a fact. Both of those were given opportunities before their channels were quote unquote taken down, because both of them had that happen, right? I've literally seen the back and forth with and I've seen it with a lot of, those are the two big ones. I've seen it with a lot of smaller channels and smaller creators too. Smaller meaning still millions of subscribers, where they were given opportunity after opportunity and chance after chance to work with YouTube to correct their content to get compliant with whatever the policy might be. Like, literally YouTube was giving them directions and trying to help them out, and they were like, no, fuck you, YouTube. I'm going to spit in your face. I'm going to poke the bear. I want to do what I want to do on your platform, regardless of what you fucking say your terms of service or your policies are, and you can go fuck yourself. And they said, okay, well, we'll just pull the plug on your channel then. Bye.
Yeah, that is poking the bear. That's literally poking the bear.
You got to figure, like, it's not in YouTube's best interest to, like, get rid of all the attractive entertainers or influencers or content creators or channels, because then they'll have a bunch of nobodies that nobody wants to watch, right?
Yeah.
So it's smart for them to, try to work with you, even though they don't agree with you. Maybe they don't even align with you, and maybe they fucking hate your content, personally, but they see that you bring eyes onto screen, and then they get paid for the ads, because they get to say, like, hey, we get all these people watching your ads on our platform. You got to pay us good money, it works in their best interest. Like, it's less about, like, the feelings, then are you affecting their bottom line? And can they help you help them help you? Because it only works if you are getting what you want out of it, and they're able to keep in control of what you do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that people go too far with this YouTube censorship thing. But now I do think what they did with Tim Pool is kind of out of hand, right? Like he didn't really say anything bad. And I feel like that there was probably a lot of pressure on YouTube to do something. So they gave him a PP slap and made him go to a re-education camp for a couple of days, and then he was fine.
I think he was guilty. He got busted for guilt by association. Like,
right. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like he had the he had the 2 videos or whatever it was that saying, and he didn't say anything bad. He didn't say anything outside terms of service. All he said was,
no, I think it was just like he was connected to Lauren somehow.
Yeah, but they looked through his content looking for.
I know, but they just kind of they needed to make an example and kind of let him. Here, let me remind you what the rules are. We're gonna have you go to this YouTube school of YouTubing again.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly that was my point. Is that they didn't do anything. The worst that they had was him saying that we shouldn't be involved in the Ukrainian war. That is no bearing on anything. It's certainly not against any policy. But they had already they had already nuked Lauren Chen's channel, and they couldn't nuke his channel because of that. But they needed to give him a little, they kind of needed to do something, I guess, to justify their actions, and then they just sent him to re-education camp to relearn YouTube policies, because he had done such a bad thing. And that's the fact that they have that is weird, right? Does anybody else? What actually gets me is it's weird that they have such a
With as
thing.
many people, the vast majority of creators that don't understand policy or ever fucking read the first word of it. No, doesn't surprise me.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it surprises me because I would be. I just.
You're not only using their billions of dollars of fucking infrastructure here for goddamn free. You're making money in the process.
Yeah, that's true.
So really, it's too much to ask to actually know fucking policy.
Yeah, but you would think they would just be like, okay, your account's suspended until you can pass this test that shows us a basic understanding of the knowledge or some shit. I find it interesting they actually have a place that you go to do it. Is I guess what I find funny. So,
well, that's only depending on your size. So,
yeah,
you can get your warning strike lifted if you go through their online policy education course. So
I did that when I had the gun thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there you go. Firsthand. Then
they were like, "Oh, we don't think you meant to fuck up, but you did." So, that is what it is.
Yeah, this is all behind the scenes stuff, man.
They absolutely shadow ban conservatives and demonetize mainstream conservative media like Daily Wire and Tim Pool.
Mm-hmm. Somebody's brainwashed listening to the conservatives.
Well, it could just be that Daily Wire is subpar content.
No, if you look, they'll complain, but like the Young Turks go through the same exact shit. So whatever.
I mean, Daily Wire isn't that good.
Daily Wire wants to make all the money on their site. Why would they tell you that you can go watch the same content for cheaper on YouTube when they can make you go to their website and watch it?
I mean, the They do it. They do it kind of like a few of the other content creators where they have like some of their show on YouTube, and they say if you want the rest of it, come over to our platform, and that's where you'll
True.
find
They're
it.
really
Andrew
good.
does the same thing. Andrew does the same thing. He's like, yeah, if you want our back catalog of episodes, come on the
Mhm.
crucible.com and check out Debate Academy because you want to be a master debater. It's you got to get in that grift game, Greg. What are you gonna do, man?
Well, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Yeah. So that I don't know that they shadow ban. I've tried to understand the shadow ban thing. I do know that they have issues with alerts and things like that. Like half the channels I subscribe to, I don't get alerts for. I'm not really sure why, because a lot of them are just not even conservative
I
related.
know exactly why. It's
Why is that?
evolution of the platform, and the resources are not. They don't care. YouTube does not care whether or not you get fucking notifications. If you
Right.
care enough about a creator, then you need to know their schedule. You need to set alerts in your phone, and you need to fucking show up. The
I
same way
really
if you was watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in the fucking 90s, you know what
Yeah.
time it comes on and shit, show the fuck up. Or set your alarm or set your VCR to record it, right?
So I'm gonna. I really hate to sound like a fucking YouTube.
There's too many users, you know.
Well,
And
and
the resources can't possibly keep up with the amount of fucking
I
alerts.
go with that. But here's the thing. Let me
They say that.
let me I hate to sound like a YouTube shill here, but this is wrong, Arthur Daya. The algorithm is random in promotion no matter what. Just no matter what. And I actually ended up having to pay to promote myself in the algorithm because no matter what I did, I didn't see any forward movement in the algorithm at all. So it was not because my content sucked. It wasn't because I'm too far to the right, I don't think, although I do talk a little bit. But they do kind of randomly promote different channels. And I've heard this from a lot of different people, that YouTube doesn't promote them. And I just don't know. I don't believe that. I mean, because I still see them pop up in my stream if I watch one of their videos or whatever, So I don't know. I have a hard time with this, and I have an even harder time believing that. You know what? I have an easier time believing, and I'm glad, Clovertack's not sitting across from me, so he can't throw anything. I have a way easier time believing that people just don't want to put in the work to promote their product. And then they bitch about the fact that their product isn't getting promoted. It's like the guys who sit around and they make 500 streams and they've got 4,000 subs or 3,500 subs, and they've had 3,500 subs for a year. They never spend a fucking dime in advertising themselves, and they do stupid shit that, like, I don't know, get a strike for copyright, or they I don't know, smoke pot on Scream and get a strike for that, or whatever it is. Yeah, they just do stupid shit on Stream. They maybe have a strike or two, and then they whine and bitch and complain about not being promoted, and yet everybody else is. And I actually have and long before I met Clovertack, I talked to people who had YouTube channels about guns, and there's no end of people saying they were shadow banned, that their content was too edgy. They're like, well, obviously, nope, the videos weren't getting put in the algorithm right, because their video was awesome, but it only had 300 views, and 100 of those were friends and family. So
problem with that theory,
yeah,
if and don't get me wrong, the Rumble algorithm, for example, it's like shit, is platform driven and written. So YouTube's algorithm is unlike anything else. It is completely individual viewer driven. And so to say that, oh, well, that channel is shadow banned, well, they would have to adjust however many fucking accounts are on YouTube, right? Like, in order to do that, and how many lines of code and how many different variables in that code and everything else, because the algorithm is all based on the viewer preferences and viewer habit, individual viewer preferences and viewer habits.
Yeah, so part of the problem, Clover Tech, is that people are applying their knowledge of other social media platforms to YouTube.
True.
Like the
Yeah.
language that Arthur Daya is using and the shadow banning, that's all like Facebook and Twitter lingo of things that actually did occur on those platforms. And so what you're describing is a totally different way that this system is structured, and maybe people just don't understand that because I mean, why would someone understand that unless they're in the content creation business and actually have been shadow banned or deleted or had, you know, been subject to some of these witch hunts? There's no reason for them to understand how it works.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no such thing. There are when you get into MySpace and not MySpace, but my niche. MySpace is dead and gone a long time ago. When you get into the gun niche, there is age restriction, which means that people are not going to see your shit if they don't basically have an account on YouTube and are logged into that account so that they can then verify age. So in that sense, if you want to call that shadow banning, that's not what it is. It's not technically correct. It's age restriction. And there are policies that dictate what qualifies and what doesn't as far as age restriction goes. It's not willy-nilly.
Arthur Dias says that YouTube admits to shadow banning people that they just don't like or agree with.
No, they don't.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing.
I mean, you show me where they said that. Like, I want to see where they said that. Like,
yeah,
GTA. Here's the thing. You guys are talking about my wheelhouse now. Because this has to do with a lot of factors. Clover Tech, you're on point with pretty much everything you've said.
I know that
there is some nuance there, and obviously you would know because you do have a very successful YouTube channel.
You are there, yes, 100%. There's nuance, no, without a doubt. Yeah,
yeah. So
I'm glad you brought that up.
Platforms, including YouTube. But once again, this is where some of my expertise comes in. Because I am actually the guy that I can test. If you think your channel shadow ban, I know how to test for that, right?
Yeah,
so and there's multiple things that can cause you to get shadow banned, but most people don't even know what people are talking about when they're talking about shadow banning. They say, ooh, shadow banning. They don't know that refers to several different types of behavior happening on the social media platform. The most commonly known one, we'll break this down for a minute, is when you go to look up a certain individual, and when it does normally an auto completion, instead, it either doesn't come up at all, or you have to say complete the entire name of a channel precisely as it would appear in order to actually get it to come up and find it on the platform. That would be an example of shadow banning, where your reach has been limited artificially by having it where the auto completion doesn't do that extra work for you. This can also be influenced by whether or not your channel is just advertiser friendly and whether or not people actually want to watch the content. Because you could have the most amazing content in the world, but if you're too negative, people aren't going to watch it. So you're not going to get viewer retention rate. You might have a lot of fans that come in and click the fucking like button and then fucking leave right away. And what does this look like in the algorithm? This makes you look like you got a bunch of fucking bots that you paid for. But people don't know this, and they will actually, this is where the actual viewership can actually negatively affect a channel, and there's all these little things that come together that can influence your effectiveness in the quote algorithm.
Well, number one, I would not call that shadow banning. A more accurate terminology and what YouTube would use for that would be search suppression. And depending on what the deal is, sure, there may be that going on, right? But that's very pointed and specific. The second thing is when you You mentioned something. Dang. Um. Um. Damn it. Damn it.
Think, Clover Tech. Think.
I know. He was on fire there. I was like, man, what was it?
Well, while you're thinking, and that's been my.
Oh, the negativity. You got it. So
Okay.
you think for a second, Viking, that negative content, drama, negative content bullshit doesn't get way, way, way more traffic than positive on the
Well,
platform?
no, I mean, like you could have really good content, but say you were really, I when I said negative, I meant like more like monotone and stuff like that. If there's something off about your
Gotcha.
content,
Okay,
it
the
doesn't
delivery's
matter
off.
what
Yeah,
other
yeah.
good shit you're doing.
Yeah, like the delivery. You've got bad delivery is kind of what you're saying. Right?
Yeah, if there's something that you're doing that you're just either not willing to correct, you know, like somebody says that, hey, there's something wrong with your background, a light keeps flickering or something like that, and you're not fixing it, eventually people are going to get sick of you not fixing an obvious problem, and they're probably going to tune out, and they're going to be like, hey, where'd everybody go? It's just like, well, you've got that problem with the mic keeps crackling, but you don't do anything to fix it. And they're like, well, I can't, I'm broke. It's just like, but there's like free things you could do, and people will, you know, even when viewers start picking up on those sort of nuances as a content creator, where like, say you're bitching about being shadow banned all the time, but you've shown no proof that you're actually shadow banned, have no way of figuring out if you're actually shadow banned, and you're saying, they're keeping me down, man. People are going like, I think this guy just whines a lot.
Yeah, but people eat it up. I mean, Arthur Dye out there is a prime example. Like,
I mean, I
Yeah,
used
but
to
there
kind
is
of
a
believe
limited
a lot of
growth.
this stuff too, right? Like I remember
it's easy to
remember-
believe. Like that's part of the nuance. I think Viking would agree with this. Like YouTube makes it easy to fucking hate them for sure. One of the biggest complaints, and I've told YouTube this repeatedly, right? The only thing consistent about YouTube is the inconsistencies. Like
That's
seriously.
true.
Well, they keep it vague because it gives them more leverage. The fact that the TOS and everything is worded the way that it is.
That's not entirely true. I've worked on policy with them, right? And so part of the reason that it has to be worded a certain way, think about this for a minute. And especially when you get down into the weeds and the nuance, it's extremely important. And in my niche, there is a lot of nuance. You're talking about a lot of different types of firearms used a lot of different types of ways and all this other stuff, a lot of gear, right? And so first of all, if they have this big, huge fucking policy, nobody's going to read it. And then, like, that's going to be a whole fucking shit show there. But if they start getting really specific, if they're sort of vague, they just hit on a general idea of what they always talk about the spirit of the policy, right? So if they hit on a general idea like, okay, we're trying to accomplish X, right? And that's the spirit of the policy. Then once you understand that, right? Yes, I mean there are nuances within there, but it's easy to apply what you're trying to do as a creator in your video to the spirit of that policy, and tailor your content with context and with other things in a way that is going to become compliant, right?
Yep.
And then you've got so what they say is if we go through and we say you can't do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, period, no exceptions, comma, whatever, that's far more restrictive than just that spirit of the policy. And so by asking for, in our niche all the time, I hear people say, and it's the people that are uneducated with the policy and they just don't understand the methodology of how YouTube writes the policy. And they say, I just wish they would be more detailed and give me the specifics. And I'm like, you realize when they do that, they're hamstringing you, they're hog-tying you even worse than you are now.
Yeah.
Because there's
That's
no
one
lateral,
of
there's
the
no
other
lateral
things.
movement with that policy. It's clear, it's solid, it's black and white, and you're fucked.
Yeah. There's less room for even forgiveness on YouTube's part when they have to be more specific about stuff like that. And people
100%.
tend to forget that YouTube isn't, they want to make money, but as was been pointed out by Glenn and by you, it's like it's an ad platform. They have to be able to be monetization friendly to a large portion of the age group. And once again, if you get age restricted, that reduces a whole group. But the idea is that if they can, ideally, they want whatever content you're
Limited-
putting out to be able to be advertised to as wide of audience as possible to make as much money as possible.
So I thought when your monetization turns yellow and says limited, I thought that meant limited to age group or something like that as well. But what it actually means is it's just a different type of advertiser. It's not a premium advertiser that pays more.
Well,
So yeah, go ahead.
Read the text of that. Just mouse over the fucking yellow and read it.
Yeah.
It said this content is not suitable for all advertisers. It doesn't mean you're
Advertisers,
demonetized. It just means that you're not in the
viewers.
entire one. You don't get access to 100% of the advertising pool
Right.
or 100% of those companies. That's all it means. And that's by design with the companies. The companies check the boxes and choose what they want to fucking advertise on or not. Right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's true.
you could be limited and never even know you're limited because of something to do with your content, and an advertiser, even though you're accessible to that advertiser, the advertiser says, I don't want to advertise on this. And so you can still have a green icon. You're accessible to that advertiser, but if that advertiser doesn't want to advertise on your shit, then they're not going to. They can turn that
Right.
off. Right. And the other problem with that, the whole yellow icon, I get why they did it. I understand why they did it, but it was such a fucking mistake because everybody's making such a big deal out of that. And they have since day one. There has always been, as far as the way YouTube works, there's always been a yellow icon. Essentially, you just couldn't see it.
Yeah,
because they didn't distinguish between partial access to the advertising pool and full access to the advertising pool. They never made that distinction. And when they instituted the yellow icon, it was because people were demanding more transparency. And it actually ended up fucking them because now people bitch about the yellow icon. And it's like, it's always been there. It's not something new that now you're getting fucked. If your video wasn't compliant before, it was only eligible for a certain amount of advertisers anyway.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So I've got an unrelated question to everything we're talking about because I'm not a content creator, but Clover Tech, have you ever interacted with Tal Flatermouse, the content creator? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do collaborations with people like that, or I've watched your show some, and I know that you've done some collaborations, but they're more scientific.
I haven't done anything specific with Tao. I have helped them with some I do a lot of, because of my unique position with YouTube and policy and other things. Like I've helped a lot of, and I get around in the community and all that anyway, with going to all the big events and doing everything. I'm blessed way beyond the size of my channel. And so because of that, yeah, I mean, I know a lot of the bigger channels, and I help a lot of the bigger channels with behind the scenes YouTube policy related issues and stuff like that, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, I've heard them talking about their policy issues in the past, which is why I started thinking about this, because that's probably the channel in your sphere that I've watched the most. I did watch that Hickok channel y'all were talking about before, but Tal Flatermouse is more science based and
yeah, they do a lot of fun shit for sure.
Yeah, but they were talking about at one point they couldn't have any kind of firearms on their channel anymore, even though they weren't doing lives; they were just doing videos. And I was told that's not correct. Y'all can have.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's a big deal now that says you can't have a 30 round or larger magazine. You'll hear that from creators that are ignorant. I use the word ignorant. I love to use the word ignorant because that means you can learn. You know, to me, that's far different than calling somebody stupid. There's a lot of ignorance when it comes to policy. And you'll hear two things are really common now. One is you can't show a 30 round or larger magazine in a video. Well, unless you say it, first of all, that's stupid on its face, because unless you say it's 30 rounds or you stand without any type of edit or cut and pull the trigger 30 or more times in a row, how does fucking YouTube even know to enforce that policy? But assuming that was a policy, let me back up. Assuming that was a policy, and then the other one is you can't install or uninstall, put on or take off a suppressor. And all that happened. All that happened about a year ago. Well, no, I take that back. It happened about 2 years ago now. January will be 2 years. That late January, the algorithm got really stupid because of some organizational mass reporting that went on, and the automated system went all wonky, and it flagged and tagged in a lot of people. And they had to go through and fix that and tweak things and sort it out. So people got hit for that sort of thing, and they just assumed there was a policy change or that YouTube was going after them. And here's the issue. To Hickok's credit, he did come back and
Yeah, I saw that.
and made a new video to follow up on the one where he gave totally inaccurate information. Here's the problem, though, with that is, in the same way with this thing with magazines and with suppressors, especially the big YouTubers, they will put out all the drama of, oh, I'm being wrong, blah, 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 and then they'll find out, and I know for a fact in a lot of cases that they have found out, and they know the truth, they'll find out and that they were wrong, but they won't correct the record. And even if they do correct the record, it's kind of like headline culture, right? Type shit. Like if a newspaper gets something wrong in the headline, today, and they have to write a retraction tomorrow, they write the fucking retraction on page 37. It's like nobody sees it. So we've got backing hit on it with the nuance, dude. There's like so many moving parts and pieces that it really is hard to keep up. You end up on the managing side of a channel, and especially when you're trying to help out others in the niche and stuff like that, you spend as much, if not probably more time with that than you do actually in front of a camera and filming shit and editing and all of that. It's quite sad.
So what Viking is the exact right person to answer this. Arthur Dye says, still waiting to understand why Fresh and Fit are demonetized.
Oh, that was because they platformed somebody and certain information was in the description that wasn't supposed to be there, that didn't get removed quickly enough, and it got mass reported, and they lost the monetization, and unfortunately, rightfully so. But
mass reporting sucks.
So who is it? Who is it that's not allowed to be talked about? Because that's messed up. If there's like a person that you can't say their name, and
well, it was a matter of there was a certain link back to them, and it was somebody that's not allowed to be platformed pretty much anywhere but X right now. So that's why
links
are about
links are a huge thing. Like as long as you and I can't get this through the GunTubers' minds enough. Like, you're okay to say and do a lot of fucking things, but as soon as you drop a link to your like local gun shop or some online place you can buy a gun, or like let's say Gun Broker that does online auctions and stuff, like things like that, you're totally fucked at that point. Like links are a big deal. So I didn't know that, Viking, but that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's once again, it's one of those small details that, guys like me, that just kind of work in the background. I'm not there in studio, so I can't be there micromanaging that shit to catch it, right? But, once I find out about it, I'll be the guy that points it out. But even I didn't notice that one. And, consequences happen. When you make a mistake, they're not going to take that back. They've been looking for an excuse. They want to work with Fresh and Fit. YouTube's been more than fair. Right? Don't get it twisted. I never talk crap about YouTube because I'm that crazy motherfucker that when I got the contract in 2014, before signing it, I read all of it. Right? I'm just like, I'm not going to get this contract and agree to all this stuff until I read the TOS and the entire monetization contract. So I could understand most of these things are umbrella terminologies with a lot of flexibility and leeway. But if you understand the legalese, it's very easy to interpret if you do X and Y, whether or not it would affect the contract or how they would look at that stuff. It's like one of the nuances that I pointed out about why, people were wondering why Access Vegas got demonetized. And I was just like, well, that's obvious because they had one of the rules in the monetization contract is you're not supposed to have females with their legs spread in the thumbnails under any circumstances. It doesn't matter what kind of content it is, even if they're on the beach or something like that. If I remember correctly, maybe I'm misremembering that. You could correct me on that since you're very familiar with it. There's a very specific part in there where you can't have overly sexualized poses in the thumbnails. So they were posting direct, like almost direct content that was just, you know, like not nude content from like OF and stuff like that with girls in provocative poses. So that's one reason right there to lose their monetization, right? And then on top of that, the cracking jokes saying like, oh, you know, oh, and YouTube is going to cancel us now. That's another thing that's a no-go. YouTube is nice enough to monetize you. Like they put a thing in there like, you know, don't be cracking jokes about us when we got you monetized. Otherwise, we're going to demonetize you. Like, come on, you can't sit there cracking jokes saying they're going to do that. Make jokes about getting canceled. But they're just like, yo, if you're specific about like, oh, and now if we can't say anything more, otherwise YouTube's going to cancel you. You're talking shit about your boss at work.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be honest. YouTube, it's in YouTube's benefit to keep everyone they can monetized.
Yeah.
It's in their benefit to have the even the drama between conservative and liberal channels feeds YouTube's pockets.
Well, more content equals more ads.
And I just don't understand. I mean, I remember
more types of content equals more audience equals more viewers on the platform equals more
content.
ads.
That's actually a really good way to say that.
Yeah.
But
you know, yeah, it. I don't see any indication, Viking. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm just giving you kind of a personal anecdote here. I don't see any indication that YouTube cares if people shit on them or crack jokes at their expense. I don't see any indication of that. But I would advise if you were going to do that, because I do that, but be fair about it. Like point out the obvious flaws rather than just creating some fucking drama because you don't actually know what's going on. It's kind of like my joke of a second ago. The only thing consistent about YouTube is their inconsistency. I've told that to their fucking face before. And then they kind of chuckled and went, yeah, that's fair.
Well, and, as I was saying, that was something that I vaguely remember reading in the monetization contract that could be used as justification. If you're like just basically shitting on the platform, that's kind of, once again, like I said, like does your boss want you to be sitting at the water cooler at work in shot of customers talking shit about them? You know, it's just like, once again, it kind of made sense when I read it, and that's why I don't take offense to it, you know, having that in there.
Well,
you know, but I actually went through it and understood the rules. This is funny. It's the same thing I did in Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day. It's like, this is the reason why everybody loved me, because I'm the guy just reading the rules to understand them, how the plays go, so that way the games can go according to the rules rather than according to people's whims.
Fucking nerd.
Yeah.
You would never know. He was a nerd. I mean, look at his screen. Like you'd never know.
Never know.
Well, I mean, reading the rules is important.
Reading
the rules is always
the Tormentor skateboard.
I seem like I missed something out there in my chat. Hang on, I gotta scroll. Whoa. I don't know what I just
What were you saying there, Viking? Back because I was gonna follow up on something and I cracked a joke instead.
Well, I was saying that those were things that I had just read over and that I remember reading the contract back in 2014.
Before that,
it could have changed.
Before that, though.
I can't remember now.
Yeah, so I was saying, what sparked that? What were we talking about? What was the theme? The thing
that was sparked off in my mind when I was even talking about that was going off of what you said about how people just don't know the rules. And this is why I'm very thankful that I actually sat down and took the time to try to read, not just to read this, not to skim through it, but to actually try to understand the contract I was about to sign.
Yeah. I don't remember what I was going to bring up. I was going to bring up something. It was probably a fucking epiphany that was like the cure for cancer or some shit. But, you know, it is what it is.
It's good to understand those nuances, though. That's why I'm the guy.
Evan O'Brien became a member. Awesome, buddy.
Thank you, Evan.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Because a lot of people point to the shadow ban boogeyman, but the thing is that like, what type of shadow ban are you talking about? What sort of behavior? Like, do you have a bad connection and now like your subscribers are getting in like an hour delay on your stream notifications? Like that's something that I could fix, right? But the thing is that if you're shadow banned, that could be happening because you're shadow banned where they're doing something to where your notifications aren't going out. But there's valid reasons that aren't YouTube's fault for many of these behaviors to be happening. And that's a whole thing that I learned from my time, you know, like going through YouTube videos at hours on end. And then I actually got the YouTube and Machinima contracts. And I learned that I was right about some other things.
And a lot of people too don't realize sometimes your videos are shit. Like, sorry, your content's fucking stupid and sucks, right? Like I cannot tell you the number of times. Like most of the time when I'm helping, and it's usually channels smaller than me. I can't tell you the number that are bigger than me now. But I wish I could help myself like I help others. But I tell them that, you know, you got to get over it. Like you publish it and it's not one of one or whatever the fuck, walk away and start working. You should have already been started working on the other piece of content. But I can't tell you the number of times that I have spent, you know, days, weeks, months or something, filming tidbits, getting things together. Oh man, this is going to be awesome. Like it's lining up perfectly with trends right now. I publish it and it fucking tanks. And then I'm busy and it's like, fuck, I need to drop a video at 5:45 today, you know, and it's like noon and I throw some shit in the cart. I run out to the fucking range and I just wing some fucking topic on some shit or whatever. And like, it blows up like thousands of fucking views, 101, you know, and you're like, motherfucker, like, this sucks. Like I didn't even try. And like I spent all that time before, but you know what? You publish it, you forget it, you move to the next piece of fucking content and you try to go back and look at things and try to be more consistent with redoing the types of content and not necessarily even the types of content, but at least maybe in the way, you know, maybe that had to do with the success of that video as you delivered it in a certain way, more than the topic was or whatever. You know, try to figure out the common themes and the things that do succeed and just rinse and repeat. Try to do more of that moving forward.
Solid suggestion. So what do you guys, so first of all, guys in the chat, look, I don't mind everybody getting a little rowdy tonight. Matter of fact, it's totally cool. However, a few of you guys, not to mention any names, but their initials are John Deadman and Cam the King. You guys got to watch a TOS, man, in the chat. Like generically, I don't think YouTube really cares too much about your chat because they know you're not responsible for it, but there's no reason to tempt fate. So don't do that shit. And that's enough of that. So just kind of moving the conversation along, what do we think about, well, now I don't know that we can talk about that. Give me a second, because now I think about it, probably can't talk about that.
We can talk about anything. It's context, man.
Yeah. It's
you ain't listening to what I've been saying.
I have been.
In a certain context, we're good. As long as there's not an organization out there listening that's going to mass fucking report us. And there's a lot of those, by the way, folks. A lot of those. You'd be surprised.
Yeah. Cam the King, if I misread, it was something else, the Easy Bake Oven stuff and things like that. I you know, it's not particularly funny to me, but I don't have a problem with it personally, but that's really close to TOS, man. And I'm pretty sure, you know, we're all aware of that. And Deadman, you can stay, just, you know, tone it down, man. Calm down, you know, just
maybe we shift gears to something a little more lighthearted and fun, maybe.
Yeah. Let's we can, you know, I get it. You know, nobody likes censorship. Of any, I mean, I don't particularly care for it, but you know, I mean, I watch it all the time happen in like
but we participate in it. You don't allow people to come into your fucking house and curse your wife or curse your kids or
that's true.
Take their pants off and play with themselves and some stupid shit, do you? No, you don't.
That is all true. That is all true.
So it's a
similar
degree.
ana-
You know, it's
similar
all degrees.
analogy is that that's what people tend to forget, is that when you're using these platforms, you did kind of understand going into it that this is somebody else's house and they ask you to abide by certain rules, and it's kind of on you to understand those rules. If you don't like those rules, you can leave anytime and you can break the rules. But then if you're mad that you get banned because you broke the rules, you knew you shouldn't have been breaking, you said you were going to follow by even entering. The sign at the door said, hey, by entering, you agreed to follow all these rules. And if you just ignore the rules and you don't know, how can you be justifiably mad when you get kicked out of the house? That's what I want to know, and that's why I've used that analogy before, is that people don't think about it that way. And I understand it's a little bit different context because it's an online platform and it's like bordering on the public space now. But at the same time, there is a valid argument to be made. If you were running the platform, would you want a bunch of yahoos showing up just yelling the N-word over and over again, shouting everybody else down for no reason and no recourse? Like, even if you didn't have a problem with them saying the word, the fact that that's all that was being said, you'd have to put a stop to it eventually.
That's all true. You know, actually, that brings up a great question. How many people in this conversation and in the chat as well, how many people have been basically kicked out of their house by their parents or told, "Hey, you're old enough, get out"?
Yeah. I've also went through children that I've done that too.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, because you're a granddad.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up, man. I mean, people do that. Yeah, I could still be living in my mama's house if I didn't move out on my own when I was a teenager.
Well, let me back up, because it wasn't that they got kicked out for no reason or whatever, or that it was even mean and one-sided. It was they did not want to follow the rules, and I don't give a shit if you're 18 or whatever, or however old. I mean, obviously adult 18 plus, but you know, the rules are this, and if you can't handle that, maybe you need to find another place to live. And they opted to do that. And I've got great children. They're all self-sustaining. Nobody's come back home. Youngest is what, 26 or 27 or something at this point, and maybe 25 or 26. But anyway, nobody's come back home. Nobody's, you know, everybody holds down a job. Everybody pays their bills. So
okay,
they made a pretty wise decision, apparently. Like, they didn't need me. They didn't need my house. They didn't need my rules.
yeah, okay. Anyone else?
I had the reverse. When I was 19, I had to kick my own father out because of his drinking habit, getting his fifth drunk driving ticket, which was a felony. So, yeah, I had the reverse. When I grew up, I had to kick my dad out.
That's odd. I'm going to go with odd on that one. So, okay.
I don't know who'd want to live with their parents. I mean, why would when you become an adult, why would you want to stay living with your family? I mean, you're supposed to go out on your own and make, if you're a guy, you know, make your own house.
Yeah. Hang on, guys. Deadman, it's chill, man. You just said some stuff that we can't, that gets really close to TOS, and you know we're literally sitting here talking about violating TOS, and we got people kind of.
Why does that even come up, and why is that even a conversation now? I don't get the, again,
I don't really know.
Like,
I don't really know. And I'm not saying anybody has to leave. I'm just saying, hey man, just keep the conversation light.
Like,
airy.
you've got, I mean, I get the different type of viewers that we,
right?
like,
keep it airy, man.
Yeah, I get the different type of viewers. You got those that never comment; they just click it on and listen
Sure.
while they're working or doing stuff. That's cool. Then you got the ones that are engaged in the conversation that's going on with the panel, giving insight, doing other things. And then you got the weirdos out there. Yeah, I called you fuckers weirdos. That's fine because I do it
Yeah.
too. Obviously, in this chat, same chat sometimes. That got their whole fucking world like they're off in some left field shit out there amongst themselves, and you're like, when you're on a panel, you're like, what the hell are they talking about?
Well, I think some guys just get a little more sensitive about stuff than others. Like Cam the King, I told him, hey man, don't do that, and he's like, yeah, whatever, I'm not going to do it anymore. And then on the other side of that, I have John Deadman, who's a good guy. I don't have a problem with John Deadman at all. He's just, maybe he's had one too many. Maybe maybe he has not had quite. Maybe he's one short. I don't know, but in any case, he just seems to be a little sensitive about it. It's all good. I'm just saying you don't have to be sensitive about it. Just don't. Just don't. Let's just stay far away from anything that might be TOS. Not because I think that you would intentionally violate TOS, but we're literally sitting here having a talk about it, and we're there's a couple of guys getting fairly close. Not like, I don't know that you went over the line, but I don't want to find where the line is. Right? That's just it. Don't worry about it,
man. Man. It's okay, John. The Furby will give you a hug, man.
Yeah. No, not me anyway. Welcome, Shazzy Bear. Good to see you this morning. I'm glad that you're up and awake and moving along. So I was asking about when people moved out and that sort of thing. I had an interesting discussion earlier today. It was a phone call with a friend of mine, and he was talking about he's about to kick his 19-year-old out because the kid will not keep a job because he knows that dad will pay, mom technically will pay for anything he needs. So, he just won't hang on to the job. I guess he just doesn't feel the pressure of having to have the job. And, I told him about, when I was younger, obviously I was the oldest, and probably just built differently than I am built very differently than my brothers. So I mean, the first moment I could get out of my house, I was out. Like the first moment I could afford an apartment, I was gone, and, but my younger brother never technically moved out, my youngest brother. And if you look at the two of us, I went on to do a bunch of really cool stuff and had, a lot of confidence in myself, being able to do whatever I wanted to do anywhere I wanted to do it. I don't think my youngest brother ever left the state, not even one time. And I don't think that until my parents helped him buy a house, he never lived in an apartment. He never had a roommate, none of that. And it was a very interesting dynamic, in that I don't think he ever felt like he had anything to worry about. So he did all kinds of weird shit, and never really had like what I consider an adult job.
Are you older or younger, Grid? Real quick.
I was the older. He was the younger brother. He's my youngest brother. He actually passed a few years ago from alcohol poisoning. He basically drank himself to death. And I have to wonder if my parents had forced him to move out on his own and had pushed him to be to stand on his own 2 feet, if that would have happened. Right.
Oh, you can't do that to yourself, man. Don't do that. That ain't on
Oh, no.
brother,
Look, I made peace with it a long time ago. My youngest brother was, he was a good-hearted person, but he was, my personal opinion is that my parents with no malice at all, kind of stunted his growth because they basically wanted him around to take care of them in their old age. That was kind of their unwritten plan.
Well, that's what I was fixing to say about the scenario you brought up with the guy you talked
Mhm.
with or whatever. Was, can I be harsh for a minute? Because what it sounds fucking like to me is that homeboy's mom babied the dog shit out of him. Dad didn't make a man out of him. The fucker hasn't grown up, and now they're regretting the fact that he's not fucking grown up. Like, so part of the blame
Yes.
falls on their less than stellar parenting.
Yes. And that's something and that's why I'm kind of asking you guys, we're
And
all
maybe the woman ruling the house and being able to baby without him stepping in as the dad and the man and going, fuck no, you're not gonna
Mhm.
raise the boy that
Yeah.
way.
Right.
But now.
I have to I basically I don't know how to say this without being a complete dick. Well, fuck it. I'm a complete dick anyway.
Yeah, just be a dick.
Yeah. So my what it reminded me of was I've always felt like with my youngest brother, he was never allowed to really become a man. You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
never had to make a paycheck.
Yeah.
Because if he was short, my parents would cover it. If he never had to do anything because my parents were always there to cover it.
Well,
And that never happened.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, my parents never offered to help buy me a house. They never offered to help me do anything. When I was in college, I remember when I started college, I was the first person in my family to have gone to college. And my parents gave me $20 a week to help out. That was it.
Yeah.
And they only did that for a little while. So it's a really interesting is a really interesting kind of deal.
Well,
somebody throw Flow State the link. I'll have him back up.
It comes to my mind too, as I'm bashing on parents there, that I've seen the same scenario play out with you call it extended family. I've seen aunties do way too much for nieces and nephews that stunt them, and I've seen grandparents on more than one occasion do things like that.
Yeah.
That baby the child to the point that or whatever and
Mhm.
stunt. So, but again, that ultimately that all comes back around to the parents going, "Fuck no, you're not gonna. It's not your job to raise my child or whatever," and putting a squash to that at a very early age. I think that builds over time.
Well, so I've seen a similar dynamic in my family grid where so my youngest brother never left the house. He was coddled. He never really had to work, but he had his college paid for painstakingly slowly over a decade, where he basically could take slowly as many classes as he did or didn't want. And he ended up getting a better job than me now because he's got some fancy degree and he's actually using it and but he still hasn't moved out of the house and really launched into adulthood where he's got a wife and kids and whatever. He's stunted in a different way, but he's still stunted.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. It was just an interesting conversation to have today. And it
very common.
I think it is a very common conversation to have amongst friends because my friend is a little bit younger than me, not by much. He's probably late 40s. His kid's like 22, I think now. Still lives at home. Drives a beater ass car his dad pays to get fixed. I mean, dudes, honestly, I told him, I'm like, man, it sounds like you need to just kick your kid out and let him go figure it out. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
My mom and dad were 3 for 3.
Yeah.
Like they never had that issue. And that honestly, that has never really dawned on me until this conversation. I'm sitting here and I'm going,
Mm.
damn, I'm thankful. Like, apparently they did as much as I think they're fucked up in a lot of ways. Like,
Sure.
apparently they did a pretty fucking good job because they were 3 for 3, not having a, freeloader, like 18,
Yeah.
you're gone. Of course, all three of us were married young, right? And,
Mhm.
and had responsibility young. And like, we had to fucking buckle down, grow up, and do what we had to do. So maybe
Right.
that had something to do with it too.
Well, I mean, you almost have to. I mean, kind of has to have something to do with it, right?
Yeah.
So, what's up, Flow State? How are you?
What it do? Same shit, new night.
That's true. That's true.
What's going on here?
How have you? What you been up to, man? I hadn't been watching your show. What's new?
The panel versus on fire.
Is it really?
I've just been dancing in the flames. I like to
As you
keep
should.
warm. I like to keep warm. But yeah, that's about it, I guess.
Did you light the fire, or are you just keeping it burning?
Yeah, I lit it.
I saw a short something about I don't know why I'm getting your shorts through my feed now, but I would just assume you keep your shorts. But
well, I tag people in shorts.
Is that what it is? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was like, what the fuck?
yeah.
So what about
if it's a short with you, then I tag you in it.
Oh, I don't think I don't remember me being in it, but it's something about what's her Crispy, whatever, that and was on somebody else's panel and whatever.
On Sarah's or Rachel's Ghost.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Sure. And I didn't actually watch it, but I saw it and I saw the title and I was like, is this still going on? Really? I thought you had all that settled.
It's still going on because she's still around and interacting, and people are still intrigued with it. There hasn't really been much development. I mean, but she just she's not letting it die. She's not taking responsibility for it, and she's also not. I mean, at this point, she's given us so many fake documents that there's really nothing she could do at this point.
Like actual fake documents, like
probably 7 that are obviously doctored.
That's ballsy, isn't it? Isn't that pretty ballsy?
Yeah, it is. What I think that she was doing, I mean, I'm speculating, but I assume that.
Yeah, sure.
Sarah
I'm
and
not gonna hold you to anything, man.
Right.
This is a chill stream. You're not on trial here. I don't have any lawyers present.
Well, Sarah and I obviously would have some self-interest in looking at a fake, because we said from the get-go we're not sharing this stuff publicly, right?
Sure.
So there's some incentive for us to look at a fake and go, you know what, we're just going to tell people it's good, right? And I assume that she was leaning into that.
Okay. So is she claiming that you're saying the document's fake, but it's really real?
She's admitted that some of them were faked, and she's or not. So the first ones I got were I told her from the get-go, I need something with dates. I need a header, I need your name, I need dates. That's what I need.
Yeah.
And
sure.
The first stuff she sent me was her actual hospital papers from 2016, and she used a pen and scratched out the dates on all of them, but you could see it through the pen.
Okay.
So it's pretty ballsy and brazen, but yeah, she's admitted that those weren't the right things or what, but she's sort of spin it off like, oh, I was just trying to show them that I really am sick, or whatever. It's just been too much games at this point.
I mean, it sounds like it. It sounds like a lot of
dancing.
Something.
Mm-hmm.
But why not just say, dude, I'm just not sending you anything, right? Like, why would I don't know.
You mean us or her?
I'm very confused.
Well, we've already sent her the money,
and I'm sure that Viking and Anson and Clovertack are all scratching their head and or beards right now, going, the fuck are these two dudes talking? Because I really actually don't know. I'm talking out of my ass because I've only know what you've told me, and that's basically a thimbleful. So
yeah,
it sounds like a not my problem. So
it's one of those problems. If I weren't right smack in the middle of it, I wouldn't be interested in it.
It's only intellectually interesting because it's happening to flow state.
I agree. That is the only reason why.
Yeah, that is how the internet drama is sometimes. Like, really? Is this?
Yeah, like there's no other reason to be interested in this at all, except that it's only interesting because flow state is like involved in it, and I'm like, what the hell did you do? Like normally you just make fun of people and just talk shit, and like now you're involved in like fake documents, and you're sounding very spy.
Very spy. Well,
very spy like.
No, I'm the sucker in this one, so there's no I can make you a fake ID, but I think you're 21.
Yeah.
2008 called. They want their fake documents back.
That's funny. That's interesting, man. It took me a minute to. I actually still don't really know who you're talking about. I just know that I remember seeing that screen name in a couple of places. I don't actually go very often. So,
well, you know the YouTube drama is getting real when people start like using fake documents or doctored documents to make points. Just like, okay.
Well, I think I have this. Let me cliff notes you guys just from what I understand, and Flo can correct me if I'm wrong. So this woman told somebody, I'm not sure who, that she was going to be in the hospital. And
a lot of people. She told a lot of people she was in the hospital.
Oh, she was in the hospital. Okay, so I'm wrong right out of the gate. Flo and Sarah, being the people that they are, they said, well, it's probably Sarah. Sarah probably said, hey, let's do a fundraiser. And Flo said, yeah, fuck it. Why not?
You're good.
And I don't see Flo giving a fuck, honestly.
So on Monday, somebody else entirely contacted me and said, Crispy's in the hospital. Should we do a fundraiser? And I said, no. I said, it sounds like she's in there for something that's just sort of chronic. Yeah. And normally fundraisers are somebody's encountered an obstacle and they need to push over the hump. I said, it doesn't see, I haven't talked. Yeah. I said, I'm just going to pass on it. And then 2 days later, I saw Sarah had one scheduled and I commented on her thing. I said, I'm postponing my stream because I was supposed to go live at the exact same time. I said, I'll postpone my stream and try to come over. And she messaged me, says, why don't you join me and co-host it? And I figured, well, fuck, Crispy's more of a part of my community than she is Sarah's or the other person who contacted me. Like, I should probably get on board with this. And so, yeah, so I did. And then I since it was a short notice thing, I didn't do my due diligence and just, cross the T's and dot the I's.
And so they gave this woman money who apparently, is she a drug addict? I mean, is she an actual drug addict or is this just rumor?
There's a lot of signs that indicate yes.
Okay.
I don't know for positive, but it seems likely.
So this is dangerous though, because you could be getting into territory if you don't know for sure she was being dishonest. You could be getting into territory where she could hold you responsible for saying negative things about her or whatever. And
yeah, well,
it's dangerous territory, man.
At this point, the risk is pretty small. I mean, yeah, we've got her on. She's lied a ton of times. It's really hard to prove a negative, right? How can I prove that she wasn't in a hospital somewhere? If I don't know, I'll take the risk. She can sue me. She can win nothing. I'm not grid one here, so I don't.
You gotta be super careful with the whole fundraiser thing. Like if you really don't know people, we did one. It was years ago, and we typically get a big group together, go to the biggest gun show in the world. Happens twice a year and hang out and everything else. And there was this guy, remain nameless, his channel and everything else that. Oh, I just can't afford. And we did a big fundraiser drive. I got him plenty of money to be able to do it. And then all of a sudden, oh, it's come up. I'm sick. I can't go. This, that, and the other. And then like we get back home, and like 2 days later, he's bragging about the 2 or 3 new handguns he's bought. And it's like,
Ooh.
you motherfucker! Like,
yeah, that's cold, man. That's cold.
And so that ruined me on not just on doing fundraisers for other people, but even participating in them. It's like, it's got to be like super legit.
So I think that for me, like, I'm already jaded as fuck. There's no
Not
surprise.
you.
Huh?
Not you. You seem so normal.
Me. Yep. It's all fake.
Okay.
But if anything, I've sort of got the opposite view. A little bit of faith in humanity has been restored because going throughout this whole thing, one, Sarah's been awesome to do this with. We think a lot alike, and it's been really easy the whole way through for us to make decisions on how to handle things together. But also, when we addressed the people and we basically told them what was going on, we said that, a lot of people donated. We will be happy to refund, even though we gave Crispy the money, we'd be happy to refund those people who want their money back out of our pockets.
Yeah.
And not a single person has wanted their money back. So, I mean, that's and if you look at the whole situation, it's all centered around one person doing a bad thing, but there's really a whole lot more people who did a whole lot of generous and things
That's
and had
cool.
integrity. So
yeah, that's cool, man. I'm glad. So that's
By the way, Grid, I'm in the hospital.
yes. I understand. Well, Glenn was in the hospital, and I was all aggravated about that for a couple of days or a day and a half, whatever it was. But what I did is I was like, well, first of all, I knew he was in the hospital, and the second, I didn't offer to send him money or anything. I literally got a hold of Josie and said, Josie, go visit the guy in the hospital. Like, that's going to do a lot better than me trying to give him a couple of bucks, right? Like, I don't know why a couple of bucks moves the needle, right? But somebody going by and
have a couple of bucks.
Huh?
I'd probably rather have a couple of bucks than Josie show up.
When you're all when you basically you're sitting in there by yourself and you think you're going to die alone, it just doesn't matter really who shows up, just as long as somebody does. So
he's got wife and kids, right? Yeah, he's got all that shit.
Yeah, his wife is in Seattle, I think, with her mom. Her mom is real ill, and so, and I know his kids are in California, but I don't really know what's going on there.
He sounded a lot better tonight when he came on for a minute. His sounded like
yeah,
he
he's
could breathe
still
again.
yeah, he's still not breathing super well, but he did sound better for sure. For sure, he did. Imperius, you can come on up. It's a chill stream, so you got to be chill. You can't be your usual neurotic, fucking methed out self. But you can come up.
Yeah, that dude can spurg, man. That guy.
I know, right? Like
keeps going and doesn't shut up.
I really like the way he can literally say a sentence at 150 miles an hour, slow down and say, "Sir," and then immediately accelerate right back up to 100.
Oh, here, I got to do something for Angry Casper. Crusty
like
cunt. She's a crusty cunt. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But they just went after Jack. Dang it, Jack. You've been so good. He'll be all right. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what. I really don't know how Imperius does it, man. He's just hammering it, and then, sir, and then right back up. I mean, it's just crazy. Very funny. So, well, that's cool, man. It's. I'm glad. I think it sucks that somebody kind of did that to you guys, but I've actually seen that more lately than I have in a while. So
the economy's getting worse. People are getting a little more desperate.
Yeah,
You know,
a little more desperate. Yeah.
Catalytic converters are getting stolen. Scams are getting run
Again. Yeah. Imperious, you better hurry, man. I've got like 30 minutes, and then I'm done like a pumpkin, bro.
You know, funnily enough, my daughter calls earlier, and she's like, "What's a catalytic converter?" Anyway, so I had to explain it to her.
Oh, did somebody steal our cat?
I'm like, what's up? And she's like, well, a check engine light came on. She said, and so I took it in, and I had the, they scanned it and said it was, something to do with some kind of. It doesn't mean it's the cat, but I mean it was a code for that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. I said, get it back here one day. I said, I'll scan it and check some things out. I said, could be, a sensor plugged up somewhere or something. And I'm like, won't really affect anything much. I said, gas mileage, probably anything. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I'm like, your vehicle doesn't sound like really bad or anything. Like it's not loud or nothing, right? All of a sudden, she's like, no. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like, because somebody could have got in there and cut it out.
Yeah. It got really bad at the boat ramps for a while, because guys would go out fishing for 4 or 5 hours, come back, and no catalytic converter on their truck.
Yeah, and that'd be a place where there's a lot of trucks too.
Yeah. They just roll right underneath and zip it off.
I hate the whole catalytic converter thing. So stupid.
It's gone down though, since like most places now you need to have paperwork to be able to scrap them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do that with any type of metals here on anything, like literally anything. Because there was a big copper run, Texas. But
it don't take a whole lot of skill to melt stuff down. I mean, some of these idiots they got the power tools and know how to cut stuff out. They can melt.
Yeah, even if you melt it down here, you still have to show ID. Like here, if you take anything to the scrapyard, anything, like they get your ID, they have security cameras everywhere. Like you're gonna get caught.
Right? Yeah. No, they do here too. But like for a catalytic converter, you need to have like the title.
Yeah, I think you have to have. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. I know that at automotive shops, when I had my shop, we didn't have any problems. But I'm assuming that the current shops,
that was years ago, though.
They have, thanks. They have to go through bigger hoops.
So. I was there. There was a guy that come around that bought all that shit, and the mechanics, if we pulled them out, we got to sell them, And
pennies on the dollar.
We made good money with fucking selling catalytic converters.
Yeah,
legally.
we never made that much. They were like $30-$40, man, for a cat. But
yeah, but if you're talking about several a week, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, I mean we didn't do nearly as many cats, but we probably should have. The biggest thing we did that actually, the guys would like make money off of was when we were able to sell oil. Because we did so many oil changes. We had massive tanks full of oil. And we had a guy come around and he would buy the tank.
To do what with it?
They re-refine it. He would sell it back. So like at one point in time, I don't know.
It's poured through a coffee filter. It's good to go, man.
Yeah. I
just sneak mine into the trash.
Pennzoil at one time, the regular standard Pennzoil was something like 80% recycled oil or something.
Didn't know
but
that.
they recycle the oil, and it.
So,
go ahead.
Does anything run non-synthetic anymore?
Yeah, I mean, nothing new, but that's a big problem that they have right now with the Hondas, the Subarus, and I think the Hyundai Kias, because they use the same engine, is that they specify 0.20 weight oil, and it's so thin that once they get a little bit of wear on it, it passes by the rings and burns, and it causes obviously oil consumption goes way up, and in some cars it'll actually start smoking and it will destroy the catalytic converter. So they have like nearly brand new cars, like a year old, that they're putting in brand new engines in because they put the 0-20 weight oil in them. So, but if they put if they put 530 or 030 or whatever in it, and just drive it, it won't smoke a bit. Oil usage goes down. I mean, these are still perfectly running in, the engines run perfectly fine, but between the low tension rings that they need to get the mileage figures and the oil being so thin and light to get the mileage figures, it uses a lot of oil and burns it. And so, you go through more spark plugs, you go through more, you just go through more stuff. So, I mean, it just is what it is.
They pretty much from day one on our Kia moved to, I think, 530.
Yeah. Knowledgeable shops and dealerships will do that.
I mean, we go on road trips, and I mean, we're getting we've seen up to 45 a gallon on it before. So like, it hasn't made mileage difference doing that.
The biggest difference the 0-20 makes is in the emissions.
So yeah, we don't have that in Texas. I mean, there's some of the big cities here do, but we don't have, statewide, the rule, whatever stuff. We don't have emissions shit. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but they're doing away, and that only even mattered anyway with the state vehicle inspections. And come January 1st, that goes away in Texas. They've done away with that. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things where even my 6-liter Silverado or 6.2, whatever it is, it literally says on the oil cap 0-20 weight oil. I'm like, fuck no. And we put that thing gets 0-30 or 530 religiously. Like, there's no way I'm putting anything less than that in. And in the summer, I'll run 40 weight. So, but that's why they have so many cam problems in the Chevy. I don't. My cam train is just silent silk, but you can tell the difference. So anyway.
Yeah, the Fords do that too. The upper end, valve rattle.
Yeah.
Lifter rattle. Pretty bad, and especially when you first crank it. Oh my God, because we drove. My wife, I had her in Mustangs for many, many, many years, so used to that. And then my trucks as well, because it's pretty much all Ford till we got this Kia. And yeah, especially when you first crank them up, I mean, drive you nuts for 15 seconds or something before it lines out.
Yeah,
and you're right. Switch the oil, and that goes away.
Yeah.
So what would be the What would be the downside to, like Raging Patriot says, using 1540?
So that W is the winter number, and so that means when it's cold,
right?
And so when your engine's cold, you really it's really hard for it to pump that heavier oil.
So I'm in Kansas City. I probably don't want that.
Yeah, no. So what you generally want is you want like depending on what engine have is that second number. You want that to be a 30 or 40 or 50, whatever your engine requires. Like most engines, 30 weight, pretty good. But
I think I got 5W30 on everything except for for the Toyota.
The lower the number on the winter weight side, the better it starts up, the better the better it warms up, the more protection you have at cold start and all of that. So if you can get it, you can have having a zero weight is like the perfect oil. And like I used to run 0.50 weight in my rotaries, which I had to buy from Japan. But anyway, it's a boring subject to a lot of people, but
I think it's
all you dinosaurs have your stupid oils and your gears and your cranks and your pistons. We futuristic people, we just go, we don't have all that stupid.
Right up until I have to charge your car on the side of the road because your battery died.
No, there's none of that. Don't worry. Wait till the cobalt batteries come out. Don't worry, Grid.
I've been waiting. been I've been waiting.
They're
for
gonna
20
they're gonna sell those at Lowe's? Asking for a friend.
I wish they would. That'd be pretty cool.
that's
Well, I'm sure
funny.
one day, maybe in like 20, 30 years, when cobalt becomes like kind of the new battery standard instead of lithium ion.
I think it's all a big fake out, and we're going to stay on combustion engines.
So have you guys, well, you guys probably don't. If you followed what Porsche's doing with their synthetic fuels down in South America and Africa, where they can test with almost no oversight, it's pretty impressive. So, yeah, pretty cool. It's it's not a hydrocarbon fuel, but it is hydrogen based, and it's supposed to burn like super ridiculously clean, make lots of power, and it's I think it's a joint deal with Porsche and somebody else, and it's going to be it's if they can make it cheap enough for almost mere mortals, it'll be awesome. Because Porsche really doesn't want to do the electric car thing that much. So,
does anybody like that electric cars really?
No, only the nerds, man, and the people with lots of money. It's a status symbol.
It's the Elon Musk
I love my
fanboy.
Tesla, dude. I love it.
Yeah,
it's like cruising in a capsule, dude. Like, I don't hear nothing outside. I don't have to deal with no bumpiness. It has the air suspension on it. I don't have to hear no noise. I don't have to breathe the same. It even has a biochemical air filter. I don't have to breathe the same air as you peasants.
So I have to ask you, Imperious, did you take lessons to be able to talk so fast and then just stop on a dime to say sir or redirect or whatever, and then immediately accelerate up? Because that's like a talent.
When you smoke out of light bulbs, it comes naturally.
Well, it's more just because I have I get annoyed having to slow down what I say for stupid people. So I try to just get as much out as quick as I can, and then I'll slow down and wait for them to process it. And I know by saying sir, it gives them time to process it.
That's okay. All right. Slow it down. Let everyone else process it. I really do like that, though. I really like on CT, you will be raging and just like it's 100 miles an hour full on imperious war eagle lawyers talk, and then just like a quarter horse just stops on a dime and sir, and it accelerates immediately right back up to full speed. It's impressive to watch, to be honest, especially on CT, because they're like no. You're just like, you've already said,
well, my brain's kind of a little like OCD, and the fact is it has to be doing like multiple things at once. Like, even when I'm sitting here, I was at my friend's house, we were watching the Dodger game, but while I was watching the Dodger game, I was watching the rest of the Joe Rogan thing, and at the same time I was like reading stuff, and I can't, like, my mind just moves too fast. So I can't just be, so I'll be speaking to someone, but while I'm speaking to them, I'm also listening to other conversations behind me. And so, like, sometimes I'll be at like functions and I'll hear someone mention something. I'll finish what I'm saying, then turn to them and go on with them, and then come back to the other person. Just because it's like my brain gets bored with one thing, because half the time when I'm speaking to somebody, I'm estimating what they're gonna say, and most of the time I know what people are gonna say, so I kind of just say the answer before they say it. That's what I was saying yesterday. I was on Sharon's channel, this other dude, and I told him, I said, dude, you got to ask women when they tell stories the conclusion of the story before all the other details, to say if it's worth hearing all the other nonsense. Because I don't want to hear like this long story of inconsequential details of like how the sky was this color and it felt this chilly and I was wearing I don't care. I want to hear what the story's about first, and then I'll evaluate if it's worth my time to hear the rest of the nonsense.
Yeah, but it's about the journey, man, and just being there and listening to the way showing you're interested in what she has to say. It's about your interest level, man. You know, that's how you woo.
Yeah, I'm not really interested to what most women have to say.
Anson's literally in his I'm going to be as feminine as possible, hoping it gets me laid phase.
It works, man. What are you talking about? Hoping? You ain't gotta hope. People simp for a reason. It's because it's an effective strategy, man.
It is not. That's how you get friend zoned.
Get him, Flo.
Well, it
$2
depends how
super
like
chat.
skeevy you are about it. If you're super skeevy about it, it can work, but it takes years. You gotta, like I said, the whole strategy is to stay that girl's friend until like some guy like me like rails her and then dumps her, and she's all sad, and then you can be the shoulder to cry on, and then they'll hook up with you when
Right,
they're at
that's
their
a
moment.
terrible strategy, though. That's inefficient as fuck.
Well,
you gotta,
exactly. That's why I say it.
you,
Yeah, it's
got,
not
you
worth
gotta
it.
lower your standards to the most
No,
damaged.
you gotta
desperate
lower
women.
their self-esteem so that their standards are lowered.
No,
you
you
gotta
start-
raise, you gotta
And I
raise
mean-
your expectations because the hottest girls are not used to having dudes hit on them because they're too hot.
No, dude. Like it doesn't. This is what I'm saying. Like when you look at someone like Flow State, you know that he can only reach a certain height and the ability of like attracting women. So what you have to do
Mostly
to
it's
even
food.
that gap is you've got to cut their self-esteem down. So let's say Flow State will get up to a 6, but he wants an 8. You've got to bring their self-esteem down 2 points.
Yeah,
And
that
then you
works,
have it.
I
man.
disagree. That's the wrong approach.
No, it works, man. That's what my brother did to get his wife, man. It's an effective strategy. His
Dude,
wife's
my
way
best
higher.
friends, all my best friends' wives, all they were women that stuck around long enough through all the shit my buddies did to them. And so they're like, yeah, I guess they're worth it now because they've stuck around through all this nonsense and they're still here. So I guess I'll stick with them.
That's
Like,
like
you know what I
continued
mean? Like,
maintenance.
that's kind of how
though.
it goes.
If you beat her down to a 6, you got to keep making sure she doesn't grow out of that.
No. See, once you beat them down to a 6, they sit in that orbit and then forever they think they're a 6. That's why you get those wives that like get hit on and they're like, oh, I don't think I'm that hot. I'm not that, that's what you want. You want you want them to fundamentally alter their vision of reality so that, if she is an 8 or 9, you want her to think she's a 5. So that
sleep
she's so
deprivation helps speed up the process.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could do it. I mean, you could, neg her to death. You could,
The degeneracy journal over here.
Yeah. I mean, you could secretly like get her a little fat sometimes. Like cycle through the year.
Than,
what you do is cycle
than degeneracy.
What you do is during the Christmas season, the winter season when they're all locked up in the house, they're not going out as much. You kind of get her to gain. You like feed her a little more to gain it like 5-6 pounds. So and then you notice like, hey, you've been kind of putting on a little pounds there, and then she'll be real self-conscious throughout the whole holidays. And then they'll work out. Yeah, and then they'll work out really good. And then by the time summer comes around, they'll be all wanting you to like approve of them and think that their body's good again and stuff like that. So you got to like, it's like it's like the Sam or the birds of San Juan Capistrano. You got to like in their, when they flock every year, women flock to the beach every year in the summers, but then in the winters they hold up like bears. So while they're being fat and inside and not shaving their legs, because unfortunately to let you guys know, during the winter they don't like to shave their legs. It's disgusting. And so while they're doing that, you get them a little fat, so then they get self-conscious. And once they get self-conscious, you mention it. So you're like, hey, you need what's going on? You like actually genuinely like kind of like perplexed. Like, are you gaining a little weight or?
Let me speed this up for you. If you just sneak little slivers of Xanax into her food for about a month, and then when she's not with you, she feels anxious.
No. Just put whey protein in her drink, like in some of her food.
Look at Grid One's face. Grid One is thoroughly like appalled.
No, y'all are all wrong, man. So what you do is you find flow state and Imperius's exes, and then you date those because their self-esteem is so low they'll appreciate.
Oh my god, you can have mine. My ex-wife.
Yeah, you can have. Well, I mean, most of my exes I'm fine with, but the thing is like once I've gone through there, you're not going to be able to match up, dude. It's like a 7. What can a pencil match up to a 747?
Out of these chicks.
Oh, when I backed out of them, I mean, yeah, there was a canyon afterwards.
Like to pull a tannerite or something. Grid, what is with the degeneracy on your panel, man?
I don't know, man. I have you two guys up like you haven't even been here 20 minutes. You wrecked it whole thing. Like, I don't know what to say here, man. This is great. Raging Patriot though says snore. So snore.
Grid, that little whore cat. She She muted me today on her show, Grid. Can you believe that? I was annoying her too much.
Absolutely can't believe that Kat would mute you on her show. I'm surprised she didn't pull a knife on you, to be honest.
So. Well, her husband was on her show, and all I asked was like, because they were all wearing costumes. I just asked him if Kat's costume was like a little sex, costume that he has her wear from time to time.
What did he say? Did he answer?
Well, he tried to evade it.
Immediately. What did he say? What did he say?
I mean, he tried to evade it, and then afterwards, she's all, yeah, let's not talk with it. Let's not answer what Imperious asked.
Halloween is the sluttiest time of year. If you're not capitalizing on it, you're doing something
wrong.
Dude,
for sure. Yeah, dude. Women are just, they're whores at Halloween. I mean, it's like fishing with dynamite on Halloween.
Yep. It's the only time.
Because all the costumes begin with the word sexy. Sexy nurse, sexy whatever,
or whore, or like whore cop. They have that costume.
I've not seen that costume.
Yeah, but the kind of woman that'll wear that and actually be, you don't want that kind of woman, man. Those women are all trouble. You want the ugly ones, man. the fat and ugly ones, the ones that are gracious and appreciative that you even talk to them, man. That's where you go.
So
I'll give you a hint, dude. The hotter the girl is, the more self-esteem the lower self-esteem they have. They're more self-conscious because they're competing with other hot women. Like they don't even see fat. That's why they surround themselves with fat, ugly chicks.
Have you seen that movie where the guy is like, or I guess it's a TV show where the guy's sitting there with another guy and they're having their coffee, and this attractive blonde walks by and he says, "Hello, Lisa," or whatever the fuck, and she looks at him weird and just keeps walking, and he's like, her name is something whatever, and he's like, "I don't care." He's like, I'm gonna if I say that to her every time I see her, she's eventually gonna ask me, and I'm gonna say that
she's gonna eventually ask me why I call her that. Yeah. God, what show is that?
I don't know.
God dang it, Grid.
But it's really good because the guy's like, at some point she's gonna ask me, and I'm gonna say, "Will you remind me of this girl? I thought you were this girl that I was supposed to call and I never did, and I felt bad." And then he says, and so then every time she sees me, she's gonna think that she looks like some girl that I turned down, and she will have to impress me.
God, it feels like it's like something from like Freaks and Geeks or something.
It's actually a really good clip. I was like, that's kind of brilliant, in a warped way. That's brilliant. So, what else is going on, Imperious?
Well, I'm buzzed as hell. I just got home from watching the Dodger game, my buddy. Oh my God, dude. We're up 2 games to nothing now. 2 games to nothing.
Have you been challenging worldviews over on CTs? I haven't.
It's been Wakanda over there the last few days. It's like
bullshit.
Yeah, it's a little chimp. It's real chimpish over there the last few days. I mean, I enjoy. I enjoy it, but I go in and out sometimes just because it's just too much. It's just it's like I'm gonna get like Hep C, like getting listening to it too much or something.
God damn.
That's disgusting, man. Why would you even go there?
Well, it's because the chimp, the chimps don't seem to clean themselves well. So
I don't know. I'm gonna have to check out this channel. What's it called?
Chaotic Truth.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like fun. You ever go on there, Grid?
Yeah, I'm on there occasionally.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
It's quite enlightening.
It's you can have really good discussions on there with like 4 people, and literally the entire rest of the people who actually will come on panel won't cam up. They will not face you. They will just sit there and rage at you for hours. Rage.
I'm really impressed with his ability to cultivate that much insanity in one place repeatedly.
Right?
I swear to God, he's so good at it. I cut my own throat for revenue because annoying people, I've got somebody needs to kick them off in 60 seconds or else I'm doing it for free.
Oh yeah, no, but that's the whole point. That's why it's so fun. Is because it's just the one place you can go where it's just complete pandemonium. You know,
They have this one dude named who uses a
For the
screen name
Family.
OB32 or something.
No,
This
dude, For the
dude,
Family is way worse, dude. For the Family is.
yeah, but OB thinks Arizona State is the college. It's
There's
like,
some hot chicks there. I swear to God, when I walked by the pool.
No, dude,
Arizona State has some legit bomb women there, dude. I'm telling you. I'll
He's
say that.
literally like, it's like a degree from Arizona State is like better than Harvard in his eyes. Like, it's so crazy. And I'm like, dude, you understand it? Like, any idiot literally can get into, like, you could be half dead, brain dead, and get into Arizona State.
But you don't really learn anything at college, anyways.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's
a lot
a
of
great argument
colleges.
too. And it's just so, like, he was asking to see everybody's degrees one day, and he's like, "Can I see your degree?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, let me go dig around in the box I've had it in for the last 20 fucking years, because I don't hang it on my fucking wall, right?" And I actually did look for it.
You only really need a degree if you're like a professional trying to show it to people who think that you're worth something because you have a piece of paper. Most people, when they get one, I mean, it's pretty much worthless after you get a job and actually work
Yeah,
for a
it's
while.
in a box somewhere. Before that, it was in a desk drawer.
Yeah, I think mine's
Dude,
over here in this drawer.
Nig Tao is in the house. Somebody should get Nig Tao up here. That dude's I like it.
Big Cal's funny. Yeah, he's a good guy.
What's that stand for?
Nigga going his own way.
Really?
It really does. Nig Tao, man. He'll be up. Hold on. All right, cool, man. Throw him the link. Yeah, it's really great, and I have no idea how CT. What I think is he just mutes the channel and just lets them roll for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then he'll just pick up, and because he knows what you kind of know what they're gonna say.
Yeah, he does when it's like For the Family or you know what I mean. Like he'll
Dude,
do
For
that.
the Family that guy literally sounds high all the time. I hope he doesn't operate heavy equipment.
No, he's like 15. He's like some kid, dude. He's like 20 years old, dude. He just goes on to talk shit. Like he's not. If you listen to him really hard, he doesn't even really believe what because he'll laugh after he says stuff. Like he'll kind of like he'll be like, you know, you stupid African, and then he'll like laugh when he's saying it. You know, I think he's like a plant. Like CT knows him. You know what I mean? And he tells him to do that stuff. Yeah.
Who are you saying does that?
For the Family.
Oh, For the Family.
His name's Mike.
Yeah. I knew his name was Mike. Yeah, that's interesting.
I had that suspicion about you, Imperius.
Well, I do talk to CT. I'm a mod in his Discord and YouTube channel. So yeah, no, I talk. But yeah, of course. Why do you think he keeps me in back for certain times and then he'll DM me and say,
well, I guess I don't know. I'm not over there enough to have established a pattern, but you're really skilled at antagonizing people, like really fucking good at it.
He literally tells them he's going to put him back on the plantation. Like, literally says that. I mean, I'm like, damn, son.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is like you have to know how to get people rattled. Then they start like admitting things that you know.
I said something one day and I was being kind of nice about it. Not terribly nice, but being kind of nice about it. And CT's like, you sounded like you were about to say, put all you back on the plantation. And I said, that's actually exactly what I was going to say. And CT was like, I don't know. He had fun with it, man. But
he came on my stream about 2 weeks ago, probably drunk. And he has to be full screened. He sang one country song and then he left. It was the funniest shit.
Yeah, dude, he's like a little shit starter. Like that's the thing. I know him. Like he was in a there were guys in my fraternity that were like that. They were like these guys that they're real quiet. They didn't put themselves out there, but they were like snakes in the grass behind everything. Yeah. They were always instigating little things, putting things together, like funny as hell, like subtle little humor. You know what I mean? But like the way they did it was funny, and that's how he is. He's subtle on certain things.
Could you imagine getting him for a probation officer?
Oh God, dude, that'd be funny, dude.
It'd either be awesome or terrible. I feel like he'd be harder to
At the
pull one
same
over on
time.
some of them.
Yeah, he wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't be able to f with him, but I think he'd be funny. Like he wouldn't be like the guy you come in and check and be like, "What do you? Yeah, get out, sit over there." You know, he'd be like,
Mhm.
"All right, let's see, let's just get this over with." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a weird channel. It's cool. I mean, I like hanging out over there sometimes, but like the thing is that he has the the FBAs so riled up right now. Like
Who?
he's leaned on him for like a week and a half
Couple weeks,
straight.
yeah, couple weeks.
What's
Well,
what's
and then
an
today,
FBA?
and to foundational Black Americans, quote unquote.
What?
What's that?
They're the
I
black.
don't know. I still don't know what it means.
Well,
I've
to them,
listened
they
to
mean
him
there were
rage
black
about it
people
for 2
before.
weeks.
They were.
I still don't know.
What he's saying to them, there were black people here before the natives, before the white people got here and stuff. To them,
The American Pretendians.
Really?
yeah. So they call them foundational black because they're like foundational people here before everyone. And stuff, yeah.
I mean, guys, I'm like, this is crazy.
Well, I was able to bring up the whole Negro pacification machine. Did you listen to that on CT's show, or Negro compliance machine? Did you see that? Or?
Go on.
Well, it's because it started out, I think, yesterday, the day before, about slavery and all, and then I came in an opportune time and exposed CT to what Tariq Nasheed brought up, and what it was called a Negro compliance machine. And what it is a steam powered machine with a 2-foot long wooden phallic object that they use to buck break the slaves. And of course it's nonsense, but it's funny that their leader of the FBAs is bringing up how blacks were buck broken by a steam powered plow machine in the late 1800s or the mid 1800s. You know what I mean?
It's just nuts. It's
and
right.
then of course and then of course that led to the discussions on buck breaking.
Yeah.
So
the Angel Berber is right. The Hoteps are the ones that say black people are responsible for most things great on the planet. Literally, you've got to hear them when they start talking about.
No, it's not really the Hoteps. The Hoteps are kind of the Black Hebrew Israelites. You can kind of put one in the same as the Hoteps but the thing is, the FBAs are even worse. The FBAs hate the Africans. They hate the non quote FBAs. And if you're not an FBA, like half the time when For the Family or OB30, they come on and go, CT, you're a dirty African. You're a smelly African. Because to them you have to be able to trace your lineage back to whatever 16 whatever they say. And so I think it's hilarious because I'll go on there and I'll rail on these FBAs, and then they'll be like, shut this cracker up, and then they'll just move on. Like they won't say anything, and then they'll move on to attacking a black and calling him a dirty African, or like telling how you're an African that doesn't know how to speak English. You're an African that shits in the streets, or they'll just go right after each other.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I find it quite entertaining. Yeah, I don't know, Grid. I think, I think it's a pretty unique little place where you can just, it reminds me of the old internet when we were younger, and you could just talk shit whenever. That's what's
it's really interesting, and it's one of the reasons why I think the TOS is very, very strange, because of the because of the way it just kind of works out with all of the different groups. And the one thing you can't seem to do is to really talk about the Israelis in a very specific way.
So they're the only
because we had two of the Jays on the show today, so we were able to attack the Jays for about a couple hours today.
For a couple hours.
Yeah, we were able to talk about how they're degenerates and how they kill everybody, and they're So that was good. You know, it's nice that we have Gimpy as our, you know, he's so shot up on heroin every day. He doesn't know what's going on. But
is that,
you know, Gimpy, he you know, he look at that poor bastard.
I didn't think he was. I thought he was.
He's not. No, he's not. But he's so grungy looking. If you see, I mean, you look at him, Jesus.
I thought he was like. I thought he worked out and stuff. Like he's always in front of his like home gym thing there.
He's a skinny little Hebe. No. Like he's just a skinny. You know, he's just you know.
Welcome, Nick Tao. Welcome, sir. Welcome again. It's your second appearance on the show.
Hey, how's it going?
Cheers.
It's good. It's good. We won't have a whole lot of time. I'm gonna. Andrew has just launched his TikTok invasion, so we have a few minutes before he really gets going good. But and I usually end at 11 anyway. So
okay.
But I saw you out there, man. I was like, yeah, we gotta get you back up on the stage here.
Yeah, tell them about what happened today with the. I mean, it was bad today, dude. I mean, I was on for a while railing on it, but I had to go get ready for the game, and it was just bad. I mean, they were extra Wakandan today. I mean, it was they took, you know, they did some extra weed. You know, they must have put some, you know, fentanyl in their joint or something, because it was really a good one today.
You know, it's a weekend stream. He doesn't do weekend streams very often, does he?
He tries to do like one. He'll do like a shorter one on Saturday sometimes, or Sunday.
Okay. So what did I don't even know what to say. How have you been, Dig Tao? Everything cool?
Piggy's muted.
Oh, is he muted? I didn't mute
him. Hey, hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just had yourself muted. You just had yourself muted.
Yeah, man. Same old, man. I just I got on CT stream a little late, so I don't really know exactly what was going on. But I did know I knew who was on the panel, so I knew the direction it probably was going in. So you know, I had to hop on and do my Oh my gosh, yo, CP streams are crazy, man. It's like I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. It's like
his show is like a moth to the flame to the biggest autists online. It's really funny, dude. It's hilarious. And I guess we're all a little bit autistic then, because we're all drawn to it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it has to be something wrong with me that I keep.
Yeah, like Bob said today, he's addicted to, you know, some people like heroin, some people like fentanyl, some people like sex. I just want to watch CT's show.
Yeah, man.
I can't figure Bob out. Is Bob like? Is he like?
He just has a lot of dry humor. Just super dry humor.
Okay.
Yeah. He like today he instigated, and then like he started, and then I came in and helped him. Like he called in, he's like, CT, you gotta make this show a little bit more entertaining. And I called in, and I'm all, yeah, CT, you got a pedo pilot, you got a porch monkey, you got a circumcised penis, you know, that looks like a Hebe, and then you know someone else. And so, you know, it was just, you gotta liven it up, you know. Shots fired.
I think we've shocked Clover Tack into like, I don't know.
I don't know. So
Bro,
this has gotten way too outside of my comfort zone, because I've grown up in Alabama, and I guess the decorum and stuff that I'm used to being able to do. I mean, if I talk like that, I don't know. I've been punched in my face. I don't know how many times. So I don't know,
right?
I don't know how to deal with this. You know, it's beyond my.
Let me ask you an honest question. When you see a black do something stupid, you just shake your head and go, God, that nigga. Like, do you ever just?
No. I grew up
Nick
around black.
Tao, tell them what you feel like when you see a black do something stupid, Nick Tao.
Oh my gosh, I could think of an example the other day, man. I went to Burger King. I ordered something at like 2:16 a.m. I seen these these apes were like
This
it
is
was
the
6 of them.
quietest I've seen Flow State in a while, by the way.
There were 6 apes. You know, mind you, it's like no real. It's not rush hour. You know, it's early in the morning. So they have like this little lobby where you go to, like they don't let you like inside of the main area after a certain time. So you have to like ring a bell when it's a mobile order. So I order at 2:16. I wait for like 5 minutes to go inside. I go inside. I see 6 of them like huddled up at the cash register, and they have music playing. They're like ha and kicking, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay, I guess they're all young. I guess they just want to, you know, they have that energy or whatever. But another 10 minutes go by, and I'm like what's going on here, man? They keep looking at me, so it's weird. I'm like, I know I put my order in like 15 minutes ago. Why do you guys keep looking at me? And then like going back to your little gathering or whatever. So another 10 minutes go by, and the guy just walks up to me like, "Hey, did you order something?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I show him what I ordered. I showed him my name, and then he just goes right back over there, and then they act like nothing happened. So I want to say now it's like 25 minutes later, and now I'm like, this is some bullshit. I was ready to leave, man. I was ready to just leave, and I say all that to say this. I say, yo, if these were some white people, my shit would have been done probably 2 minutes after I ordered it in, man. I don't want to be that guy, man. But I was like, you goddamn niggers running around, you know, booty dancing, shucking and jiving. Where's my motherfucking food, nigger? Like I wanted to say that, but I'm not that guy, man.
But
I'm
you
a
didn't
lovable
say
guy.
that. Hey, but you didn't say it. That's okay.
No, I didn't. No, and then what if they spit in my food? I didn't want them to chimp out. And you know what? I did the Karen thing, man. I wrote a nasty, wrote a very nasty review. I felt so good, I let it off my chest, and you know. Oh wait, that was TOS. Oh, I'm sorry about that, guys.
No, you're fine. It's not TOS. That's what's great about YouTube. You can use the N word.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's just the J's.
yeah, but I just want to say, when I see, the blacks being the blacks, I just shake my head, man. My goal in life is to never have to interact with a black, you know, maybe sparingly, maybe on a once per year basis. You know, that's
Well,
I think that should be every person's dream, man.
no, man. So yeah, but see, black people and white people, that there ain't no difference. It's just the way that they're raised in their culture.
Oh no, there's a big difference.
There's no difference other than their culture. And
No,
so,
no,
like
no.
the
There's a
people
big
you were
difference.
talking about are irresponsible people who weren't raised right, who don't know the difference between right and wrong, and don't know how to behave. I know plenty of white people like that, and if that store had been filled with those kind of white people, they would have been just as irresponsible and useless. It ain't got nothing to do with your skin color, man.
Sir, I'll give you an example. There's no white people rioting and twerking on the top of cop cars as celebration.
No, but well, there may not be that, but there've been plenty of white people who've done similar stupid things. I mean, there's a picture of
Well,
Close
yeah,
State
white
there
people
being
do
an idiot
stupid things, but
in
the
that
extent
video
to
right
which
there.
no, white people do stupid things, but to the extent to the devastation that white people's stupidity, it's just not even close.
Okay, yeah. So the level of devastation of white people's stupidity, man. White people do stupidity on such a mass level that they create massive bombs and drop it on other people, and industrialize the
We do
process
take it
and
to the next
mechanism.
level. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Flow State's got
No,
to
we just were, but then you're attacking someone that makes the best out of every situation. See, even then, the whites. I mean,
Yeah,
Nick,
to
you
me,
got to back me up. Even in weapons of war, the whites just make the best out of it. They make the best ones, and then they, whatever you want to say, it's still they just do the best at it, whatever situation they're put in. That's
yeah,
the miracle.
yeah. To me, when you say they make like all these advanced weapons, I start to me that just tells me they're probably great at doing it. If the farm equipment could do it, then they would do it, but they don't.
Farming. Did you just say?
No disrespect to them. They just I get fed up, man.
No,
Oh,
man, y'all got it all wrong. I've known plenty of black people who were more civil and more cultured than
You just
a
haven't
lot of the
gotten them
white
liquored
people
up
out
yet. You just haven't got them liquored
No,
up.
that ain't it. And I've known plenty of white people who were just as bad as any race. The race is
No, you
irrelevant.
can't tell
About
me.
the
You
culture,
can't
man.
tell me. You can't. You know how you know when you cross the line, in a city between the black city area and the white city area. The moment you cross over into the black area, you hear some black lady yelling at some 6-year-old kid to shut up and get in the car and stuff like that. It's more. There's just more there. I mean, Nick will tell you. I mean, every single Walmart in a black area, you got some gorilla looking Leslie Jones looking woman going around dragging some kid through a Walmart while it's screaming its head off, and then she's yelling at the kid to shut up and beat the hell out of you and all. It's just too much. It causes me stress.
Man, you hadn't spent enough time down in Alabama in the Walmarts that are predominantly white.
Oh,
With
I'm in
white people
Florida,
that are
dude. I got
exactly
Florida man Walmarts. I
exactly like
understand.
that.
No, but no, it's
rednecks
not
down
that
here are
bad
exactly
though.
like that. Yeah,
No, it's
worse
not
than
the
that.
same.
Worse than that.
No,
Oh,
it's
man.
not. It's not close to it, man. It's not close to it. Like Greg, do me a favor. Can you do me a
Yeah.
favor, Greg?
Sure.
Would you be able to bring the video up of the Walmart is racist lady?
No, I'm getting ready to end the stream, man. I'm watching Flow State drive around in a fucking easy boy, lazy boy.
But that's his stupidity is not getting anyone hurt but himself.
Yeah,
and that's fine. What's wrong with that? If you want to hurt yourself being stupid, that's fine. That's your right.
Yeah.
He's not gonna hurt nobody. Like, who's he gonna kill in a sofa? You know what I mean? Like on a lazy boy, he's not gonna kill nobody.
Yeah, I don't even know. Is that gas powered, Flow?
It is not. It's electric.
Oh, it's electric. Okay. All right.
Well, he's sitting. It's what it reminded me of. I thought it was that South Park episode where it was that dildo powered. You're sitting. You look pretty uncomfortable sitting.
I forgot about
It's imperious. That's all it is. It's imperious. So, Nick, I got to ask you, man. So the past 2 weeks, it's been all FBA all the time. Do you really think that they're responsible for all the technology in the world? Did we lose Nick Tao?
Nick Tao, you're on mute, dude.
Again. I didn't mute him. Oh, he might have
had to do something. Yeah, he might have to do something.
Oh,
well, no.
Osa's here. Wow, this is like most people. I never have this many people up.
Yo, what's up, Grid? What's up, fellas?
Hi, Osa. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I just peace and blessings to everybody. I just wanted to chime in. We're different. We're different. Where did you just ask Nick Tao, Grid?
I asked him, what about so I haven't been in for all of the arguments back and forth, but where do you guys think that there's any reality to the FBA's claims that they created all of this wonderful stuff and that the evil white man stole it from them and
Grid that it would be the same thing as if the Irish said that they were in space and the Italians invented liquor, gave it to them, and it ruined their civilization.
Yeah, like,
No, it was
Yeah,
the English. It was the English that ruined the Irish civilization. Get it right, man. Come on now.
Well, you know what I mean. I'm just saying it would be the Irish telling you they were in space flight.
It was
and
the
then they were
Irish.
given.
The Irish invented alcohol to go to space, to have a way to keep their food fresh in space and preserved in the alcohol. And then they drank it all and forgot how to go to space, and honestly, they didn't want to. They were all down at the pub. They liked the pub better than space.
Oh yeah, Greg. I'm sorry, I didn't even hear your when you
That's
asked
all right,
me
man.
that question.
That's all right.
So you asked me do I think
I mean, do you think there's anything to any of these claims by the FBAs that they are somehow responsible for all of technology and all of the good things, and that the white people just basically stole it from them, and did all of these great things?
I mean, like I say this as a melanated black king myself, man. Respectfully, no.
Okay.
I just go to the original black African. What were they doing in Africa? They had they have the most resources on the planet, allegedly, or so I keep hearing. But what were they doing? They were having mud hut freak-offs, having
they were buck breaking and booty scratching. That's what
they were booty scratching, having female genital mutilation ceremonies, probably sacrificing little kids to the sun god, figuring out new ways to torture each other. Like what do we have on record?
So that's
that
an
the
interesting
Africans ever created.
Well, it depends on if you read their records or not. So one of the interesting things about that is I just heard someone the other night make a point to Andrew in an argument or in a debate, that the Christians were bad because they came over to the Central America, and they basically committed genocide against the Incas, and that made religion bad. And Andrew's response was, yeah, they killed all of the people who were cutting the hearts out of men, sacrificing women to volcanoes, and beating and fornicating with children. They killed all of those people and destroyed their culture. What's so bad about that? Right?
All of this is just all of this is just white man bad. This is what it is, man. All these other cultures were backwards, doing all sorts of insidious, heinous, debaucherous things to each other for eons and eons and eons, but nobody gives a flying. Can we curse on here?
Yeah, you can curse. It's just easy on the nigga stuff, man.
The N bombs.
It makes the whites. It makes some of the more conservative
It
whites a
makes
little
my
nervous.
mods just go completely batshit. So, which I understand because they're trying to protect me from myself. So,
No, you wait till I go on Cat Show and call her a nigress later. I'm gonna.
Don't do that. Why would
Yeah,
you?
but it's all white man bad.
It is
all these other cultures can do basically whatever, but because a white man did something to somebody in the past, we have to completely fixate and scold these people into perpetuity. Even though, in my opinion, without whites, a lot of these cultures would still be in the Stone Age, man. Especially Africa. I mean, you could argue Africa is still in the Stone Age. We just don't. We literally just don't care because they're not white. It's not white people doing stuff to them. I believe that's all it really boils down to.
Nick, now can you explain that why? I can go on there for a while and just say some horrible things to like the FBAs. and they will, you know, do a token insult, but then they go after black people. Like, can you tell me why they hate other blacks more than they even hate the whites?
It's to me, from what I've observed, it's like this racial solidarity thing. Like you're never supposed to speak against like another black. Like I don't get it either. You would think that a black person should, you know, be able to speak about bad things that's happening around them without being, you know, told that you hate their entire race just for having a difference of opinion. But that's really what it is. They just
Can I have my 2 cents?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, so going back to like the technology thing, what happens is that somebody with a little bit of knowledge speaks to a black person with a little bit of knowledge speaks to other blacks, and then because we're emotional and not logical, we run with it. So there's lots of evidence to suggest things that Africans were doing, and again, Africa is a gigantic continent, so you're usually talking about one group of people, but they extrapolated for the whole entire continent. But there was a group there, you know, the groups of people who did master alchemy and metalworks very, very, very early on in human existence, and so they'll take that and then they'll say that's proof that they invented everything, right? So it's like an over exaggeration because we're just like
Yeah, I
emotional.
mean, nobody argues that. I pointed out on CT show, and I've asked these guys about, like, do you guys even know some of the ancient like empires in Africa that did build like actual pyramids there that still stand there in like southern Ethiopia, in like the Kush empires and stuff like that? They have no idea about it.
Most
All
people
they think
don't
of is
know.
it's crazy.
But the other thing too is that most of the FBAs don't come from there. Most of the FBAs come from Western Sub-Saharan Africa.
So like Sierra Leone and like Ivory
Nigeria,
Coast area.
Ghana.
Like even lower. Okay, even lower. Okay.
Yeah, right there below, you know, Sub-Saharan, right? So that's not even Sudan and Ethiopia. Most of these FBAs, they don't even come from there, like genealogically. So it's just taking a little bit of information from a very specific part of Africa and then extrapolate it across the whole group of people to suggest, right? Because most people don't have the knowledge to look up where they came from or find out where they came from specifically to know, well, what is unique to at least the group of people who are at least relatively close to where I'm from. So one halfway smart guy says, yeah, you know, we invented, you know, or iron or whatever. And then like, they're like, yeah, we invented all of or iron, everything that's iron, we invent, you know, it's just an extrapolation. When you have nothing to hold on to, you start to reach like that. So because there's nothing to hold on to, everything was taken from you. I mean, the whole continent got their asses handed to them, and it's not comfortable to admit that, right? You got to admit that. Like my family in particular is from Benin in Nigeria, and I mean, essentially, we got our shit stolen from us, and they use it in fucking all the museums and like these particular masks that we kind of were known for, and like all these masks, they're in movies. It's so disrespectful, but like we can't go get it back. We some chumps. It's like if somebody comes on your block, takes your stuff, and then you can't get it back, you're essentially a chump. But we acting like we're tough guys, which is weird.
But all of us European descendants are I mean, we're obviously not the successful Europeans or the descendants of them. Most of us, right?
Right.
So I don't know.
But well, not just that,
it seems like if you have any sort of like identity of self, like as a person, this shit wouldn't even matter. I don't even get why it matters so much.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm the descendant of criminals from Europe. You know, that's the people that came over here. That's my heritage. You know, we're not special. We're just people, man. That's
well, yeah, my family, the Italians, the Germans, the Irish, like, dude, we were hated when we came here. Everyone hated us, dude.
God,
like the freaking Guineas, the Itais, you know what I mean? Come on, dude. Like everyone hated us. I think, you know, and so you just have to go through it. I think it's like an initiation ritual. I think it forces people to see who is like really wants to be here. And I think we're missing that, you know. I don't even think it's a color. Like that's the thing. It's like like the assumption that like white people get along with other white people is like the most opposite of history. Like for 1,000 years, the British and the French, they went into hundreds of wars against each other. I think they had the 100 Years' War between each other. We hated each other for so long, and like these FBAs think it's just like white is just one single like group.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
combined all of you guys into one single like. They're all like they say stuff like this. You know, they're all band together to keep black people specifically down. Like they think you all you guys have like one single mind. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, that mindset is just like, no, but y'all aren't that important to us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hey guys, I've actually got to shut down, go inside, get some sleep. Got a long day of doing goofy stuff. Flo, you got any last words, man?
Nope. Thanks for having me.
Are you gonna start a stream in like an hour or something? If
you know, I'm on the completely fucked up streamer sleep schedule, so yeah, probably a couple of hour two maybe.
I'm gonna send everybody over to Andrew, but I thought they may want to come over and continue the.
I'm sure I'll be on it within 2 hours.
Yeah. Osa, how about you? Any last words?
Nah. Much respect, man. Yeah, shout out to everybody. But man, much respect. Take care, y'all.
Yeah, you're welcome back anytime. I just, it's time for me to call it a night. Nig Tao, how are you?
Hey, no
sir?
problem.
Any last words?
Yeah, man. Salute to everyone on the panel. Salute to everyone in the chat. I love everyone, especially white women. Have a good night, y'all.
Especially the white women. There you go. All right, Imperious. I hate to ask, but do you have any last words?
Well, Grid. I'm just, when you go to bed tonight, you close your eyes and you thank God for the things you have.
Yeah.
Just thank God you're not an FBA. And and just look at your Asian wife and think, man, I don't have to deal with someone like Lizzo. Have a good night, Grid.
True. Good night. Have a great time, Imperious. All right. How about you, Clover Tack? It's a tough act to follow.
Well, you can all go to hell because I'm going to be standing right here in Texas. Bye.
All right. Bye. See you. Have a good night. And then there was one. How about
man?
How about it?
Thanks for letting me up here. It was chill. I didn't have much to add and contribute, but I did every once in a while. And your shows are always good, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a different show, especially towards the end, but
it started to get good.
It started to get good. I gotta go to sleep. It started to get good. It's good having you, Anson. Guys, I'm gonna send you over to watch Andrew battle the libs of TikTok. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And you guys all need to get off my lawn.
Yeah, I just answered your question. Can you tell me what epistemology means?
Epistemology is the study of the epistles. I mean, you can. I told you that a husband and wife is supposed to be the representation of God and the church. He said he's a husband. I asked him if he sees himself as the embodiment of God, and he said no. That doesn't make any sense.
Wait, what is the epistles?
The epistles are the apostles. Are you talking